Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to On The Level, Thomas van der Zande, Carrie Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Mr. Romish, Sense Your Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twodwazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMails24, Yuyan Mento, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKiernan, Retro Bill, Level Plain Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Since its creation. And it ain't moving either, huh?
Yeah, that's why I think people are, are going to be held accountable for, I don't agree with everything Matthias was saying yesterday, but, some parts, the Bible's clear. People perish for lack of knowledge. Now, knowledge is brought to them, and especially I'm talking about the church, the Christian church. These pastors have been brought the information, and they just refuse to look at it and line up with pseudoscience.
And I'm just waiting for the, I don't know how to say this, like for the stationary nature of Earth to become the main topic. Like just like the Earth is measured flat is right now. I keep bringing it up, man, but it's just so easily overlooked. You know what I mean? Like the axiom, the default position. Something that can't even be debated, man, or it's not even agree or disagree. It's just something that is.
Yeah, we're not moving.
And
we're
pretty
stationary.
much, just like every angle that's measured requires horizontal plane of reference on Earth, right? That's how, in the same way, anything that moves on or above the Earth requires Earth to be stationary, or to describe the movement, how fast something is moving on or above the Earth requires Earth to be stationary. And it's just something that it cannot be denied, man. You know what I mean? You ask anybody, did you ever experience the motion of Earth? No. Do you know anybody who measured it? No. What else is there to say?
Yeah, because it's so big. You're not expected to feel it. Don't you know that?
I know. Yeah, I heard that. It's a very illogical answer. How does the size of the Earth have anything to do with movement? I just can't relate the two things,
You wouldn't expect to feel movement. You wouldn't expect to see a geometric horizon. You're
Why?
You're not going to
Like it
get
is.
the pitch that you're looking for.
And then they say, like, look at the sun, moon, and stars are moving. Well, are they really? And then, oh, no, we are moving. They look like they're moving. Like, really? So you see the airplane in the sky, it's moving, and then, like, you can make the same conclusion. Oh, the airplane is not moving, the Earth is moving.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense, man. But again, like, I just don't think this is brought up enough. The fact that the Earth isn't moving. The stationary nature of Earth. It's just not being talked about enough. In my opinion. My humble opinion. That's why I always say Earth is flat and stationary whenever I say it's flat.
Well, let's bring it up when everybody's in, and let's see if we could push the envelope here. I understand what you're saying. It's true. And it's not only movement, they're talking about insane movements.
Spinning. Yeah, 7 different like 7. Yeah, 5 or 7 different vectors.
Yeah, you'd be torn apart.
Spin on its imaginary axis. The orbit around the sun. Man, it's just so out there, dude. Like when you think about the miles that we're supposedly covering. Man, like I read this one dude's comment on a different app, completely not related with Earth anything. It was his 55th birthday, and the dude wrote down 55th trip around the sun, talking about his birthday. Man, I smacked my forehead. I'm like, oh my gosh. I wasn't gonna say anything again because it wasn't an FE topic or anything like that. But so many people, man, like what's in their minds, man? Like how many miles is he covering on this spinning Earth around the sun to say that it's 55th trip around the sun? Can you imagine how many millions and gazillions of miles that is? While your whole
And
life,
if you
all those 55 years, you experience Earth as stationary, right? And you feel like a 5-mile-an-hour wind, you feel it. You put your hand out the car when you're going 20 miles an hour and you feel the wind. Right? You're moving your chair a little bit while you're watching the TV or something, like you feel it. But no, you don't feel
so what
you don't
about
feel all those vectors.
so so what about and you know something? It never reaches its destination. If you want to talk about the
Yeah.
movements or
Yeah.
hurling through space, but we never reach our destination, huh? Have you ever heard of anything moving and not moving towards a destination?
Nope. Nope.
Well,
The journey to infinity. The infinite vacuum of space. Ever expanding. But are we supposed to be traveling towards the great attractor? Whatever the heck that is. Like a cool sounding word. Isn't that the claim that we are moving towards the great attractor, which is somewhere in the
I don't
center of
even
the
know.
galaxy? Guess that's the claim. Spinning spaceballs, man. How dare you not believe in it? And why does it matter? Oh, it's not important. Why does it matter? Oh, really? That's why these people are having emotional breakdowns when somebody doesn't believe in their fantasy? Because it doesn't matter? Is that why these trolls are here every day, spending all day in this server? Sometimes talking between themselves? Just attention begging and waiting for somebody to respond to them? Saying the most idiotic things? I ran out of space on my phone, dude. How many screenshots of the most retarded comments these people made? Like something you can't even believe, dude. Like I showed my neighbor who was actually a globe believer, and he wouldn't believe me that these are actually globe defenders. He's like, these people are trolls, man. I'm like, no, dude, they spend their whole life here. They come here every day. This is what they say, and I've showed him a different screenshots of different things. He couldn't believe it either. He believes in the globe.
Yeah, you can't be a globe believer because it's fake. You can only be a globe defender.
Now, there's a lot of globe believers out there, man. People who actually don't, just globe believers, not anti-flat earthers or actual fanatics. Like they just simply believe in the globe, and they never think about it after you finished high school or something. There's a
So
lot of people
you're
like that.
saying they have faith. You're saying they have faith in the globe, but they have no
Yeah.
evidence.
Yeah, and that faith is programmed through education, right?
You mean
You're
indoctrination?
talking
It's
about a
the same
blind
thing,
faith.
right? Isn't it the same thing?
What was that?
Was that Mark Twain quote? Don't confuse the education with the. Oh man, I forgot.
Yeah. I never let my schooling interfere with my
Right.
education.
All right.
They don't teach anything in schools these days.
Well, like you think about it, man. Like it's why would they teach you to trust your senses and to be intuitive and to be able to think for yourself? You know what I mean? What benefit is that going to be for the social order later on? You know what I mean? If you can build your own house, if you can grow your own food, if you can think for yourself, you're not going to be a quote unquote productive member of society. How you going to believe their lies if you can think for yourself?
Did you listen to that Alex Jones interview with Candace Owens?
Is that something
You want
recent? Nah, man, I don't think I can listen to Alex Jones.
it was last week. You want to hear a
He's
load of
not a.
nonsense?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. Yeah, I always thought that's Alex Jones's job, man, to mix the actual real truth with a whole bunch of nonsense. And for him to act the way he acts, I think it's all an act. To make everybody who thinks of these things, the same things that Alex Jones thinks, put them all in the same boat and to think of us as emotionally unstable or crazy conspiracy theorists. That's Alex Jones's job, always was. Right? Because if you even mention 9/11 or anything that Alex Jones talks about, you're automatically crazy. Because look at Alex Jones, he's crazy. Look how he acts. That's his job, man.
Yeah, she brought up a video of him 22 years ago. Things he was saying are happening right now. So, that
So give
means
me
you gotta
some
listen
detail.
to him. He told Elon Musk he should up his security because they're gonna try to kill him soon. He said, I warned Trump. I warned Trump.
Man, Neil, what do you think about the Trump assassination or whatever? Real or not? Just one word. We don't have to talk about it, man. Just tell me what you think.
Yeah,
Fake or not fake?
but no, it was definitely a real attempt. But the whole thing
You
is
you
a
really think
play.
so?
Yeah, but they're all listen, this whole politics, it's all a freaking act. It's all a play.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, I don't think so.
Fake like everything else, dude.
Staged 100%.
Yep. But anyway, we're not going into that right now.
Agreed.
Was this AI calling Bev and Elder Bear on a debate? That's not gonna happen, man. AI, that's not gonna happen, dude. These people are here just to troll and try to make Nathan agitated and other people, and I just can't believe there are people still responding to these guys, man. There's people still debating them in text chats, yeah. I just don't get it, man. What a waste of time.
Yeah, I don't deal with that. I starve a troll. You know the difference when you hear something in chat. You know the difference from a guy that's programmed like we were, from a guy that's trolling. So I just starve the trolls. I don't even answer them. Eventually they get tired if you don't respond to them, and they leave. But if you keep responding to them trolls, you keep them alive.
I mean, but it's even like I just don't get it, man. Like even their own time, dude. Like if they're not getting paid What a waste of life, man. What a waste of life if they're not getting paid.
We're not getting paid either. So if they have blind faith in this globe, like we have an understanding that it's flat, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, man. I'm talking about the trolls, dude. You know, who spend their whole life here just begging for attention and
Well,
what was
that
achieved
used to
in all this time.
got them on both sides. Remember Sin Cleanser? He used to come in
Yeah, yeah.
till we found out what he was all about. An attention seeker.
Yep. They all are, man. I mean, I don't know if you're not in Discord a lot. If you look at the main text chat, you'll see the same trolls do day in and day out. And same people responding to them and the same arguments day in and day out. Like, I don't know, man. What Nathan is doing is going for the live show for the audience, dude. It's, people are being exposed. People are learning new things because they're going over the information every day. It's literally educational content. But to be in a text chats with trolls, dude, same thing day in and day out. Oh man, I'm begging you, all these flat earthers, please stop, guys, please. Starve them to death. Let them argue with themselves, let them talk a little bit, and they'll leave. And it just seems like there's more
Exactly.
trolls every day, man. Like Globers keep showing up here, dude. There was yesterday a lady came from Politics server. She's a moderator on one of the LGBTQ and all that. And she said Jedi sent her here. And we had a short conversation. And I just asked
Who's
her,
this?
what's her, like, she's a globe believer. I'm like, I'm not going to bother you. Can you just tell me, since you believe in globe already, what's your best proof that you live in a globe? And she thought about it for a few seconds, and that's what I was taught. And that's where all the scientific evidence seems to point to. That's what she was taught. And that's where all the scientific evidence seems to point to. So I invited her to the show. Said Nathan has a daily shows 9 a.m. Hope you show up. Hold on a second, my wife is calling. All right, amigos. I'll see you guys in a couple hours.
See you
I'll
later.
just. Good morning, Nathan.
Hello.
See you guys in a couple hours, man. I'm gonna stay in and listen, but I gotta be busy right now.
Did you see the release I did from the whatever it was, Ministries something or other? Creation Ministries
No,
International. Did you see the little short video I put out?
I haven't. No.
Oh, okay.
When did you put it out?
Nathan, I don't know if you saw it. I put a whole bunch of shorts yesterday after Liam put the full video. I put a whole bunch of shorts of the same ministries. If you want it, if it makes it a little easier to use.
I didn't see those. I'll have a look in Master B. What
Yeah, it
I'm
should
going
be
to
in
do for
Master B.
now is play my own video because it's only short.
If you go to after you posted a meetup for the G Plus, right after that there should be like 6 or 7 shorts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the same video.
Okay.
All right. See you guys shortly, in a couple hours. Bye.
These flows of iron to not rise and fall as straight
One
lines,
observation.
but as spiral.
Person at one time and make a broad scale application and conclude something like, oh, the Earth must be flat.
So if you were to take, say, a broad scale observation of the sky and categorize it as astronomy, and then tell people how their world is based on those mere observations, you'd say that they were completely bunked. Yeah, I'd agree with you. Observation alone does not make science. I mean, observation doesn't make science at all, because you need to observe something actually occurring for it to be classified as a phenomena. That's something occurring. Not seeing something that you believe will be there based on maths, that's not a phenomena.
It's not true.
So you're describing logic as used.
Sorry, how is it logic? If I see Chicago, it logically infers that I don't see Chicago, because the maths of Earth curve says there should be a hill in the way, but there isn't a hill in the way. Therefore, logically, it must be that unbonded gas forms lenses and bends light around the Earth when I look at the maths equation of 7/6 of a radius value that has been measured on a flat plane. That's logic. No, what that actually is, gentlemen, is you being batshit insane. There is nothing logical or consistent about any of what I have just summarized. It's insane. You're the nutters at the beach telling the people having a nice view that they're not really seeing their view. That's your version of logic. You're not really seeing the island, it's only logical.
Used for a scientific method approach to.
There it is again. Yeah? Fraud. Scientific method. Let's go through it. Just for my audience, not for the benefit of this fraud who's using this method to claim validity of an observation. Step 1. Observe natural phenomena. That is something occurring in nature, not caused by man, not synthetic. And step 2. Suppose a cause for the natural phenomena you observed. That consists of your independent variable, supposition of causal influence are yet to be validated, and dependent variable, that's the observed phenomena in step 1. Step 3, actualize your scientific prediction, otherwise known as hypothesis. Your hypothesis, if causal influencer, independent variable, then naturally occurring phenomena, dependent variable. It is an if and then suppositional statement that you will vary the suppositional causal influencer and see if it causes the dependent variable you are trying to induce. That is called an experiment. The process also has a requirement for systematic experimentation. That is to say, you will repeat the variation of causal influencer to confirm in a systematic manner that it does cause the dependent variable that you are studying. That is a relatively concise summary of the method of science, otherwise known as the scientific method. At no stage, ladies and gentlemen, has this bearded fraud used that method. What he has done is gone and looked at a town or city in the distance. That's what he has actually done. He has then gone on to told you it is logically consistent to ignore that you see it and assume you can't, because something you can't see, that's a hill getting in the way, should be but is not in your way. Therefore, the should be but is not in the way based on Earth curve maths is his claimed now phenomena, to infer that his garbage and lies has somehow comported with this method he just named. Liar. Fraud. pseudoscience peddling salesman.
The conspiracies. So would you say that conspiracy evidence is essentially pseudoscience?
No, because pseudoscience is a claim of science that has not been put through the scientific method as described by me 30 seconds ago. Pseudoscience just means you claim it's science like this guy did and then don't put it through the scientific method.
Supercharge.
Let's just go through Vlad's shorts.
What warning do you have for Christians who are compelled to believe the flat earth theory?
I would very strongly caution anyone to get into it, but for those who are in it, you're rejecting church history at your peril. And the people who have taught us that the earth is a sphere are the same people who helped us develop most of our doctrinal positions, our way of thinking, our understanding of what the Bible means and what it is. So be very, very, very careful.
Are there any experiments that support the flat earth?
There are no experiments that support the flat earth.
Category error. Not a cause and effect relationship. We covered this in the show when we covered this, but the guy doesn't know what science is.
There are things that if you look at it, oh, hey, this is not what I expect, but every single one of those has a valid, known scientific answer.
No, you can't science flat earth. It's a category error.
Is flat earth pseudoscience?
Flat earth is pseudoscience and...
No. See, pseudoscience is a claim of science that hasn't been put through the scientific method. He doesn't know what science is, therefore he doesn't know what pseudoscience is.
So they had a guy come.
Oops.
What's your go-to debunking argument for flat earth?
I like to simply point out that every day there's a sunrise and a sunset.
Okay. And? So your idea of proving or disproving the nature of the ground is to point to the sun. What about it?
And I've photographed sunrises and I've photographed sunsets.
Okay.
Where did the flat earth idea come from and why do people hold to it so strongly?
How the hell would he know? He's not a subject matter expert.
You know, I'm not exactly certain where it came from, but I know
Yeah, well, at least he's honest.
it didn't come from the church. It didn't come from...
Did it not?
What?
Didn't come
It came
from the
from the
church.
Bible.
If you don't know where it came from, how can you know it didn't come from the church? What an idiot. It's good to have some shorts videos to react to, as we were literally listening to a trimmed out clip from it. Where is everybody?
I don't know.
They all said
But
they would be
everybody
here early.
docked.
Supposed to be doing some book editing after the show, so it's going to be a short show. But based on that, they were like, "Oh right, we'll be there early for the live show then." Well, okay, great. Here we are, 10 to the hour. Good job, I've got something to cover, I guess. I was fully prepared to have a nice little chin wag. Not that I'm saying I don't have a chin wag with you, Neil, but you know what I mean. Fortunately, we've got a really chatty lot in Discord, so that's all right then.
No, the problem, Nathan, is everybody's comfortable now. Everybody's comfortable with Earth being measured flat.
I see, we have to go fishing for outrage from our opponents, is what you're saying. Nobody on the panel's going to go, "Oh, this really awkward situation came up the other day."
Well, what Mush was saying is he doesn't believe that Earth not moving is being pushed enough. It's stationary nature.
Why would you push the stationary nature of Earth? It's non-positive.
Right. What, to 99% of the world? Well, maybe, I'd say maybe 90% of the world now. giving us 10%. Think that we're moving, Nathan.
Well, it's to them to prove that we are. It's their burden. I mean, if somebody asserts that, I can debunk the standard that the globe has to make that claim. Well, we can debunk it, but I don't need to do anything. This isn't my positive claim to defend. I don't care if someone else says it's moving. That's absurd. Okay, why? Show. How?
Well, they'll take you to pictures of the solar system that we all were taught in school. And they'll say, see?
It's not showing how. Like I say, we know the standard they employ to claim that they're turning. It's Coriolis deflection. There isn't any. So it's the end of the argument.
I'm going to tell you why the church is stuck, because what they do is they put all the they give all the credit to God. We're moving, but we don't feel it. God's awesome. How he could do this.
Saying we're moving and then offering a mitigation for why we wouldn't notice isn't a standard I'm going to ever accept. However, as I've just said, their standard is 2 reference frames and a deflection at 15 degrees an hour called Coriolis effect. They claim the ground produces deflection, which is utterly absurd. The ground that's not moving produces deflection in an inertial reference frame. Okay, well then that's going to have some consequences that we can debunk. So unless you can show it happening, in which case we'd all be suffering the consequences we're not suffering, well, it's a non-claim. It doesn't have anything to pad it out with. Their claim. Beyond that, that's it. I draw the line at saying, well, you're saying it's moving. The ground I'm standing on that's demonstrably not moving, you say moves. Okay? And your evidence is, I already know it, it's Coriolis deflection. 15 degrees an hour of it. Well, we don't have that. That's the end of your claim. Bye-bye. Oh, well, we wouldn't notice. Yeah, we would. You claim we'd notice 15 degrees an hour deflection. It's called Coriolis effect. If you're unaware that the globe makes that claim, well, familiarise yourself with the claim that you say we will experience, and we do not.
I guess we just got to keep banging the drum slowly.
Like I say, we're going to be in politics tomorrow. I was kind of hoping that we would just be chit-chatting. I mean, I've got a video lined up for the live show if literally nobody turns up from G+. But, you know, I mean, fine, we'll cover a video, but I kind of have it in my mind that Thursday will be like a nice relaxed day. I suppose pressing play isn't that stressful, but... Right, I'm going to have to get the Discord crowd warmed up then, clearly. Hello, people of Discord.
What is everybody in a coma? Wake up.
Hey, Nathan.
Hello, Arthur.
Hello.
Hands dirty in the garden.
Evening.
Okay, we're going to be going live soon, ladies and gentlemen. Ideally, that would mean you all wake up. I'm glad I did that. That's obviously worked wonders. You see, on yesterday's show, Neil, someone from the super chat asked me how long a 4090 would last. Do you see that?
Yeah, I heard you saying something about it.
Well, ideally, it would have been someone else. Craig runs a computer shop, and he sells them. Like, literally, that's his job. So he would have been the more appropriate person to ask. But, you know, I happen to know the answer, so I gave it.
And I had no clue what a 4090 even was.
Graphics card. Graphics card so powerful that they had to ban it from import to China, or export to China, depending on how you look at it. So it wasn't allowed to be sold to China because it was powerful enough to run AI, and they didn't want China doing it, so they didn't want to sell it to them. So China got a cut down version of the same thing, so it wasn't quite capable of running AI. Very powerful card, very expensive, a couple of grand. Probably the only good card available. It's just terrible value. But very, very good card. This is your fault, Discord, for not being chatty. Yeah, I think Craig's got an RMA chip on the way for this system. Twitchy little sod that it's been its entire life. It's a couple of years old now, and it's probably spent a month being stable. It's been a lot better since having the main board changed, to be fair. Hell of a lot more reliable. He was crashing daily prior to that. Seems like a long time ago, eh, Neil?
A lifetime ago.
Good morning.
How are you?
Me? I'm fine and dandy. How are you, Neil?
Excellent.
I'm totally lying, actually. I'm not well. I'm completely burnt out. So I've been working morning, noon, and night for quite a significant period of time. And I'm absolutely exhausted. So today, I was kind of hoping that there'd be a whole bunch of people here on the G Plus panel, and we'd be having a bit of a chin wag. Now, fortunately, there are some conscientious people in the Discord and on my Skype group that have already divvied out choices of videos to cover today, should the conversation run dry and stale. Now, my intention to run a relatively short show, that's not short live show, but short overall show, Uncut and After show. For those of you who are unaware and don't see the Uncut and After show, it's probably because you're not subscribed to my second channel or you're not a member of my main channel. So if you did want to watch the Uncut shows, this morning's was incredibly boring, I'll be honest. Then, you know, you can check that out. They come out about a week later on the second channel. So there's also a link to that if you did want to subscribe to that, and then you can see what's being discussed before the live shows and after the live shows. Now, in years gone by, it was actually the case that the fear of being on a live show led a lot of the people who did debate with us to come on in those after shows. It's not so much the case now, and we tend to have a focus on each of the live shows that we will, you know, keep the energy level relatively high throughout these live shows. So it makes no odds either way. But like I say, back in the day, it was the case that those were the debates took place. Would you not agree, Neil? Not, like I say, it's the case now. Well, that's a good
Yes,
response.
I agree.
Jolly good. It is still the case. I mean, like I say, can you mute, Neil? There are various different debates that you'll see trimmed out in short form, and you'll go, oh, I didn't see this on the live show if you're a regular viewer. You're like, well, that's chances are come from one of the Uncut and After shows. So if you want to see those, like I say, subscribe to my second channel for free, or alternatively, become a member and you get them literally a few moments after they've been uploaded, having recorded them each day. So yeah, become a member if you want to check those out. So Let's do a bit of housekeeping. Why not? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Negative, but there's evidence that Neil's going to be dishing out some serious fines.
As always, there's no obligation for anyone to be here. We have a Discord server full of people. They're just not very chatty at this particular moment. I'm sure they'll warm into it. Maybe if I play a video, that'll get them all warmed up, Neil. What about any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Plenty of phenomena, but that's it.
You say plenty of phenomena.
You need to be able to.
Say again?
You need to be able to manipulate your claimed causes, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have to formulate it first. Yeah, step 1, observe phenomena. Step 2, suppose a cause of that phenomena. Step 3, vary that supposed cause to see if it actually causes the phenomena. They struggle with everything past the first step.
And that's the problem.
Doesn't sound like science then.
No, it isn't. But because they claim it's science, it meets another definition, which is pseudoscience. A claim of science which has not been through the scientific method. That's something we were discussing in yesterday's after show, which is to say that lots of things, like we actually did play in the pre-show, so we had a few clips from the Ministries channel or whatever it was we covered a couple of days ago. So just a few short clips from them. But the guy who's being asked says that flat Earth is pseudoscience. And you're like, well, no. Unless you can give a specific example where one of us, that's to say flat earthers by stereotype, have said, we have the whole body of science proving the Earth is flat, which is a category error that we would understand and appreciate given that we know what science is. The man suggesting it not only didn't know what science is, but by extension didn't therefore know what pseudoscience was either, which makes sense. If you don't know what science is, how are you going to define what the antithesis of it is by definition? Well, in this case, the definition is a non-adherence to the scientific method, but specifically when claiming you are in some way scientific.
Yeah, but the problem, Nathan, the problem is there are flat earthers out there that do claim science behind flat Earth. So, I mean, if you're talking specifically about us, meaning FED and whoever else is attached to us, then yeah, the guy sounds foolish because we immediately state that it's a category error.
Yes, exactly. That's what we have to deal with. People who want science to be on their side because they've forgotten what science is. I say forgotten because we were all taught what science is in high school. And the reason we were taught precisely what science is, that is to say cause and effect reasoning based on systematic experimentation after formulation of hypothesis and observing natural phenomena. The process results in empirical outcome. Therefore, having something that suggests you have an empirical outcome is very useful if you're going to lie. If you're going to suggest something should be accepted, then suggesting that it has science behind it is a shortcut to getting the person you're telling whatever information, it doesn't matter what, to accept that it's empirical. So that's why it's done. It's a scam. It's fraud. It's pseudoscience when they're claiming it. But the suggestion that they have the whole body of science behind a category error, the shape of an Earth, that's not a scientific category. But they'll say it because then people will just accept a sphere-shaped Earth because science said so. It's got no lips. It's a method.
I think people get a little bit tricked because you are able to rigorously investigate things without using the method. But then the logic that underpins it is, well, not there, possibly.
Yeah, I think I glean what you're saying. You're saying, can you prove things outside of the scientific method? Yeah, of course. But when it comes to natural phenomena, cause and effect reasoning, there is the arbiter of all natural phenomena. That is science. But there are things that sit outside those categories. There are things that aren't cause and effect relationships, that aren't natural science. And those things can be proven, but it's just not in the category of science. Like I say, the only reason they're suggested to be with hows and whys, rather than causes and effects, is the empiricism that it suggests with a claim. So you claim Earth as a shape. Well, okay, that's not something occurring to figure out the cause of. But if you say science says Earth has a shape, and people go, all right, well, that's proven then. That's the magic trick.
Tricks with words, like a lot of it.
It was our first step, really, into truly understanding how we'd been duped onto being, I was going to say on a ball, but you never were. It was all in existence in your mind only. But we figured that out when we figured out how science actually functions to prove things, and where it hasn't been applied, but has still been claimed to be science, leaving your average layman with the impression that it's been empirically validated, and us with a decent understanding, thanks to Quantum Eraser, of what that would actually entail to make that claim, to suggest you have empirical validity to your assertion. Now, half the time, it's in a category error. It's not even a scientific endeavour. But they'll still use the words, they'll still claim experiments, they'll still claim theories, they'll still say science, in quotes, after they've made some stupid claim. And then they'll probably appeal to consensus. Yeah, that's typically the game. Well, this group of men says X, and we ascribe them the title of science. Therefore, they're saying X is empirically true. That's the logic of the general masses, because they don't know any better. They kind of do, because they were taught it in school, but only so that when they hear the word in adult life, they hear proof, when they haven't actually got any.
They looked really close, though, a few times.
Say again?
They looked really close, though, a few times.
Who did?
These people.
Oh, see, I got what you mean now. They had a really good look at it. Yeah, it reminds me of a Roy Chubby Brown joke. I'm no gynecologist, but I'll have a damn good look at it for you.
They would have done a bit of measuring too. But I mean,
ooh, a bit of measuring. That sounds like maths. After doing a bit of measuring, maybe say the word science.
Probably used a flat baseline though.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but I was waiting for you because as you set yourself up. Indeedy. They're going to be pretty terrified of any actual Earth measurements because they're going to be flat.
Can't beat reality.
Well, this chinwag
That's the kicker right there. What did you just say? You can't beat reality. The reality is that Earth is measured flat. Can't be measured any other way.
Yeah, we were
magic trick going for a while though.
Say again?
They kept the magic trick going for a long time though.
It might not be as long as it seems. If you imagine that there's been a ramp up from 300 years ago to now, then you go, well, part of their rhetoric is double speaking its way around the simultaneous contradiction of knowing for several thousand years, but also having people oppose the idea, but simultaneously not oppose the idea. And a transition from people apparently knowing that it's flat to having a new ball rhetoric suggested to them, but also simultaneously already knowing because of the Greeks. You know, their story, because they bastardize and change history, is all over the place. Yeah? So I think that's just done intentionally to hide the fact that while we can perceive through the stories we're told about history that we've had a knowledge of Earth being a sphere for thousands of years, with a really good understanding, let's just give it in their favour, since 300 years ago. I disagree. It seems to me like there's a good chunk of the populace that didn't accept this, and the more united the various different worlds across the surface of Earth collude with one another, the more integrated they become, the more they all toe the line of the one world religion, which is heliocentrism. So former nations that understood and appreciated a flat world toe the line and fall in line with the rest of the Western world and say, yeah, we're going to the moon, we're going to have a space program, Earth's a sphere. Where up until, I don't know, like I say, maybe for the most recent, it's only not even a couple of hundred years, maybe 150 years, they were still completely dealing with Earth as a flat plane. In the same way, they just hadn't converted it with Haversine and then projected star positional data through a sphere that you're standing inside. They just hadn't done that because it wasn't necessary. You know, after the fact, you can show that they take the global projections from the Western world and fully incorporate this idea of us being on a sphere. That very subject that was going to be the subject for 10th Man before he had to step away to care for a family member, but that was going to be the thing that he was going to be covering next, if you will, had he been here for a significant period. So I don't want to...
Looking into Bowditch. I guess it started with Bowditch in some ways.
I don't want to spoil what 10th will eventually, I know he will, put out to the public. So I only know this because he's, like always, gone out and bought all the relevant books at a great cost to himself and then spent the time researching them and then validating all the information. And that in itself is a tricky job. So I'm being a little bit vague because it's not my information. I've had a taster of it given to me by 10th when we, chat, which is very infrequent at the moment, unfortunately. I'm getting a few Skype replies from him, and he's just very, very busy, like I say, as a carer. But yeah, that'll be the next thing he, when and if he gets around to it, will hopefully put out to a public audience. But I don't want to steal his thunder.
I don't.
Plus, I'm not particularly educated in it. Like I say, I got a vague précis of it from him when he was telling me what he was currently looking into. Anyway.
Yes, same really.
Yeah, but my point is just to speak to the idea of everyone always knowing we were on a globe. I definitely don't think so. I think it's far more recent than we might appreciate. If there's examples,
I mean, any sort of historical thing, it's like
there's
anything
just,
beyond living human memory is up for grabs.
There's hints of it. Little house on the prairie, I think it was, showing some pastor being criticised for teaching the Earth as a sphere. The hint being that in years gone by, that particular region just understood it to be flat. Dave Weiss has done an interview with this 101-year-old woman that basically said exactly the same thing. And you're like, well, if there's remote regions of the New World that understood it to be flat in recent history, then what does that tell you? It tells you that they hadn't had a full heliocentric penetration of the Western world until perhaps the last 100 years. And even then, there's still people...
Is it safe to say right after the moon landing, it ramped up?
They hadn't done a big enough trick to get people to question Genesis.
Well, yeah, but they want people to believe that the ridicule is enough. We've all known for thousands of years and you've got to be a Dumbo. That might hold water for 100 years if you're really pumping tons of money into making sure that lie is kept prevalent constantly. And you could say they've done a pretty good job. Very good job, in fact.
Cost them a lot of money. They spent billions of dollars on maintaining the trick.
Yeah. Huge chunks of money on keeping this lie going. But, lies don't last forever.
It's another annoying thing, like base level flat Earth talks about how NASA's extracting all this value out of people. No, that's how much it costs to maintain the trick.
Exactly.
There's probably some grift going on there as well, but it's not cheap to employ 100,000 people to do various little pieces of things.
You could argue that that's very fruitful for the people that work there and get paid a living to do engineering of a high standard. Now, it may not be like other scientific endeavors that actually benefit humanity and develop new technology. We're just told that they've got various technologies that they give us that aren't particularly groundbreaking. But the billions that they've pumped into that endeavor is all for nothing. There's no sky vacuum to be researching. But they need everyone to believe they are. And what's the grift, as you put it? Well, the grift is the same as any other thing that's government run. It's designed to keep the people under control. And it's just one aspect of a multitude of levels of control that they have. But that one particular aspect is control of what you believe the world physically is. A sphere and a sky vacuum. You've got to keep that line going because people would quickly wake up to it if it wasn't continually peddled to them.
That quote, it's very hard to convince a man that he's telling a lie if his job depends on it.
Well, they're not. They're not. The people who produce something can say that they produce it aren't lying, but
well, Even if you had suspicions, if your job is dependent on it, maybe you'll keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, perhaps. But there's no guilty implication to anybody in NASA except for the people who claim that they're in a sky vacuum. Beyond NASA's astronauts and men who've claimed to be to the moon, they haven't. They're liars. But the rest of the people, it's like, I'm sure you're an excellent engineer. I'm sure you made a really good job of whatever you're doing. And I have no ill feelings to any of you. You're just doing what you do to earn your money. And I don't call you a liar. You're not trying to peddle the idea that the men who are above you, in in colloquial terms, not in physical terms, because they're not actually in the sky vacuum, but the men claim to be in the sky vacuum are the liars. They're not. There's no sky vacuum.
What if there is a region of supercooled helium up there that's zero friction, and they were just tricked?
You know, I don't know. What if there was? I mean, number one, gases disperse throughout each other. You know, the mixture of gases as high as we can go is no different to the mixture of gases at ground level. I mean, there might be a high concentration of one particular gas where it's being dissipated into the rest of the mixture of gases, but after a given period, entropic law holds. You know, you're going to have a distribution throughout all of the gas, and you're going to need containment to achieve it. Pressure varies as you go away from the sources of the gas itself as they dissipate into the containment. Now, obviously, the world itself is vast, which means that we can develop cycles, but all of those things are a prerequisite for containment. You've got to have containment first to develop any of the things that we see with gas behavior existing. 70 people watching, please share the show. Smash the share button if you've not done so already. Hey, Craig. Oh, well, everyone's enthusiastic today. Right, we have actually got a video to cover. So, as is always the case, I'll put a link to this videographer so you can go and let them know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. It's PolariSaurusRex is the name of the channel. I'll be honest, I'm completely cold. I've never watched this videographer or this video. So, we'll react as we normally do. The video is called The Flat Earth and Ice Wall Theories. So, you can probably imagine what this is going to be. Let's stick this link in the live stream chat. It is whizzing its way by. The idea being that...
I've noticed anti-flats have started turning up to make comments in the on the videos as well.
They always have. Right,
not your videos, on the videos that you're linking.
Oh, really?
So a whole bunch of... Yeah.
Of course. They won't be crediting me.
Well, no, I mean, they do their usual thing.
What I'm saying is, regardless of the side, my call to action, now you've said that, might need some distinguishment or an explanation of the lack thereof, which is to say, I don't care if you're a baller or a flatty. This guy's a YouTuber. I do this with my YouTube hat on. So as you're looking at the live stream chat now and you see that guy's link, I look at this guy and go, more power on you. I want you to have as much YouTube algorithmic love as I would hope to get. Now, I know that's not the case. I know that I'm suppressed in the algorithm and this guy potentially isn't. Now, he might be also. He might be moaning, for all I know, that he should be at 20 million subscribers rather than 735,000. So I don't know what this guy's situation is. But what I do know is that as a fellow YouTube videographer, I can share his stuff with my audience and have them go along and give him as a videographer exactly what he wants, which is comments and views, likes potentially, if you like this stuff that we cover today, or this is other material. They might even subscribe for all I know. You know, a lot of the videographers we cover don't cover flat Earth as their major subject. It's a sideline, but their other subjects might be of interest to you. My point being that the hope is always that this videographer, if he hears what we've covered with his footage or whatever he's covering, I don't know what he's going to cover, but makes a response. It's like, right, this guy made a video about me saying I was wrong, or this guy made a video about me saying I was right. Here's a link to his video, just like I've done for him. Yeah, that's the idea. Now, in the last couple of days, or in the last week, let's say, there's been a couple of examples, one involving me, where our counterparts who get all of the algorithmic YouTube love, you type in flat earth, you'll find our counterparts immediately, lists and lists of them. As many anti-flat earthers as you can pick from when you type in the words flat earth. You don't find us. So when they cherry pick whichever is the most beneficial to them to make money with, that's videos that we make, and put them on their channels with a limited amount of response that isn't half the time even worthy of being in the video. Oh, well, I don't understand what this woman's saying. I'll just play a bit more. Yeah, that wasn't worthy. But they don't even put a link. So Simon done in the case of me, and Creaky in the case of the woman yesterday. I don't even know who she is. I don't even know her name. So they're talking about the final experiment, and Creaky puts a link to the final experiment, which definitely isn't a video he's covering. He's covering another YouTuber and their video material. And he didn't put a link to her. Disgusting.
I think she's on Facebook.
Again?
I think she's on Facebook, not YouTube.
Doesn't matter. I need a link to the
No, I
original
know.
video so I can, number one, regardless of YouTube hat on, if I take it off and put my flat earth hat on, I want to check that she said what is claimed to be said. He's edited it. So let's see the context on the original video. Now, with us, we tend to cover things and just press play and pause. There might be if it's a massive video, we might scrub to the middle of it and play from there. But we tend not to be hacking out huge chunks of other people's videos and then not leaving a link so you can go and check what they actually said in context. These guys don't do that. They'll take chunks of video, often more than their covering of themselves, and not put a link to the original videographer. Well, in this extended, very lengthy call to action for PolariSaurusRex, it's my way of saying, I appreciate you making this video with my YouTube hat on. Hopefully, I can outgrow your channel, like I'd hope you, with a YouTube hat on also, I'm a fellow videographer, would want to help me. You know, if we're all crabs in a bucket trying to stop our fellow videographers, especially when you're using their bleeding material, you're dependent on them. But you won't even give them some YouTube love. What a bleeding outrage. Yeah? And it seems disingenuous. Like I say, you can't check the validity of what they've hacked up and put in their video from their opponent. Can't check what they've said in context because there's no link to them. I mean, in the case of Creaky, didn't even mention her name. Who is she? I don't know. Anyway,
At the
this
risk
guy...
of stereotyping, it's part of the course.
Say again.
At the risk of stereotyping, it's a par for the course from these people.
Yeah, maybe there are videographers on the anti-flat earth side that do put links in, but like I say, there's been 2 examples in the last week, probably less than that, half a week, that have just used chunks of videographers, in one case mine, material, and not even put a link to them or anything. Like I say, particularly egregious for Creaky, because he's gone out of his way to put a link to the thing that's being discussed, but not the videographer's material. All right, okay, well, it shows that you're disingenuous and you're scared that people might find their way back to her video and see just how much you've misrepresented what she actually said. But out of fear, you won't put a link. Whatever the reason is, YouTube hat or flat earth hat, it's disgusting. You know, I'm going to call it out. And people might not see it as being so egregious when it's me moaning about my video. They're like, oh, well, you're just bitter. Well, yeah, I am. But I can be bitter on behalf of somebody else when I don't even know their name and cannot find their original video to check what the rest of the context was. Because exact same scenario. They just haven't bothered putting one. Oh, well, why would I put a link to this video I've stolen huge chunks of material from? Oh, fair use, fair use. Yeah, you can hide under that, you pathetic slime ball. Crabs in a bucket, that's all that is. That person's a videographer, you're a videographer. If no one ever shared your link, you wouldn't have grown. Oh, you would have done, because you leech off the anti-flat earth algorithmic love that anybody searching flat earth will direct towards them. So they should be the first to share in it. They're getting favoritism. Nobody finds us when they type in flat earth, even though we're covering it as a specialist subject. They're detractors who also cover a swathe of other things, but will come first on the list. Even if you do a tertiary covering of this subject, secondary subject to you, you'll still come up far higher in the list than any of the people who cover it, solely cover it daily. We'll never come up in the lists. We don't.
Nathan, we're
Tightrope they have to walk, though, isn't it?
Again?
It's a tightrope they have to walk, though, isn't it? Because they want to talk about the subject, but they don't have any quality arguments. So they're terrified of giving actual flat earthers any airtime.
Unless they're hacking it up and misrepresenting them. without an ability to
Exactly,
double check it.
yeah.
Anyway, this has been an extended call to action for PolariSaurusRex. So, yeah, I've put the link in the live stream chat several times. Please do actually, as I suggest, go to his video and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980. Sent me with a polite comment, and hopefully do the same if he was to respond to us. But with that said, I am actually getting into this video because otherwise it will just be sat on screen without us actually covering it. Which one is the actual video? This one, I think.
Another video, Rom. Considering I am a channel that has made loads of videos about conspiracy theories, especially a lot of conspiracy theories you see online on social media, I don't think I've ever spoken about flat Earth, like the flat Earth theory. I don't think I've...
That's because it's not a conspiracy. You know, how Earth is measured, it's just how Earth is measured. The idea and notion that it's a conspiracy theory is something you've been you've met from looking at mainstream coverage of this subject.
ever done a video about it, might have not even mentioned it in a video before. So today we're going to be talking about why I personally believe, and the keyword there is personally, you don't have to agree with me, we can have...
No, the key word there was believe. Yeah, generally speaking, when people come on this platform and suggest that we should endeavour to listen to or pay any credence to people's beliefs, I couldn't give a toss what you believe. I mean, believe what you like, more power to you, but in terms of its influence on me, the answer to that is zero. I don't care what you believe.
Have different opinions. Why I personally believe the Earth is not flat, because I'm...
That's fascinating belief that you hold there. Meanwhile, that's how it's measured. Okay, so if you want to disbelieve the measurements of Earth, you feel free to. That's stupid, because that's how it's measured.
Not a flat earther, but if you are a flat earther, I'm going to say a few things about why I don't think it's true, and you can let me know down below since you know more about the theory than I do.
Wow, I'm slightly lost for words. Very respectful of you. Well, more so than ever, the link's going by, let this guy know. No, you implored your audience to respond as flat earthers to your questions, queries, or statements of truth that you believe prove Earth is not flat. Well, we will do exactly that right now.
And I'll read it. You can let me know down below. You know, you can listen to what I have to say and why I don't believe it's true.
I'll do you one step better. We'll give you a verbal response. You can hear the tone and timbre, perhaps disdain. We'll see how we get on.
And then you can tell me down below, and I'll actually read it. I'll actually...
Good. So you'll be reading the responses from my audience, helping you in the YouTube algorithm where we get no love whatsoever by decree of Congress. Yeah? At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me is the indication that someone's taken their time to respond to your video. That'll be me and my panel and my Discord server. We'll all be listening and responding.
We hear you out. We're not just taking a look at the flat Earth theory, though. We're...
Just point and no, it's not my Discord server. I have no involvement in running it. It's done all on my behalf by very, very good moderators who are very generous in their time. I just totally took credit for something that's not mine. I just leech off it. I just use it and abuse it. No, I don't abuse it.
We're also taking a look at the ice wall theory, which suggests...
Not a theory. It's a scientific theory. All right, we're going to be talking about your beliefs, of course. We already know it's Mystic Meg theories. Yeah, these aren't theories.
There is a huge ice wall surrounding the planet that we know, the world that we know. And beyond that, there's... fuck knows, a bunch of continents and all other things out there, all other life forms and stuff. Now, I think these two theories are separate. I don't think every flat earther believes.
Yeah, Neil?
Are we constantly going to be attached to this freaking ice wall? When is this thing going to melt?
Metaphorically melt as in as an idea that's not been validated and foisted on flat earthers as a straw man so that they can be defeated nice and easily. Yes, we don't claim that. The idea that we have an ice wall, that's definitely going to need some validation for me to give it any credence whatsoever. And it's just woeful in terms of what flat earthers, if you want to stereotype us as claiming this, have actually provided to back their, not my, nonsense. It's given to us at what we call the Feast of Nonsense. Go ahead.
Isn't that just a description of the coastline of Antarctica? That's how they describe it on Wikipedia.
The coastline of Antarctica?
Yeah, they call sections of it ice shelves and ice walls.
I've seen pictures of that. More than happy to accept that. So when you go to Antarctica, there's shelves of ice that are really high. Yeah, I'm down with that. Plenty of evidence of that. As for a 74,000 mile ice wall around the entirety of the world, no, I'm definitely not going to be accepting that garbage. unless you actually prove it with some sort of validity. Meanwhile, he was suggesting this notion in his misrepresentation of a stereotype of what flat earthers believe, that there's an ice wall and what continents or whatever the F is beyond that. Okay, fine. No, in our known history, we have expanded the territories from maps that didn't include the new worlds to maps that did include the new worlds. That would be to say that there was an area of land that we thought was the entirety of the world, and then we went out towards the horizon, that's horizontal, flat, based on stars and how we'd mapped our world flat and measured our world flat with those stars so that we could find our way home as we expanded our way out. And when we expanded our way out, we found, quote, new worlds. Since they've been colonized and, westernized, we were discussing them earlier. Yeah, these are new worlds. Now, third world countries isn't really the right phraseology in modern times because it's very telling. New worlds, third worlds, yeah? Better to call them developing countries. Ka-ching. Then people won't realise that in their recent history, we have expanded the flat territory. You might be living on one of these new worlds if you're listening in the audience right now. Yeah, that short history that you think back on for your new world is because we did expand the world out flat. So I don't have to speculate about this nonsensical world I don't claim and what might be on it, when I can show we absolutely unequivocally measured the world flat and then navigated the world flat and expanded the known territories flat with, quote, new worlds. Now, there does come a point where the idea that the new worlds we did definitely find when we travelled out towards the horizon, maybe if we stop calling them new worlds and start calling lights in the sky soil, and pretending that we can travel to the new worlds in the sky, then no one will ever find any new worlds because the little twinkling lights in the sky are not made of soil. We're not travelling to them to get resources. And what have we experienced in terms of expansion of actual resource? Well, that would be the flat territory that we expanded out into the new worlds. Not the new worlds in the sky that you believe in with your religious faith. Yeah? I don't have to explain what's beyond Antarctica and show it in recent history. Go ahead, Neil, you're obviously keen.
I was going to say something as well there. Sorry, Neil.
You with your mic wide open while I'm talking, ruining my audio then one day. Go ahead.
No, I mean, the guy at the beginning said he was going to talk about why he believes that the Earth isn't flat. Now, he's not done anything like that at the moment. He's just talking about speculation about ice walls. And I doubt when he does get to that point, if he ever does, I don't think he'll be talking about measurements. I'm going to say he's probably going to be talking about boats disappearing as they get further away on the ocean, or pictures from space. That will be his, his view on why he believes the Earth isn't flat.
Let's see if you're right.
I reckon it's going to, yeah.
See if you're right.
Believes that there is a ice wall and then a bunch of stuff beyond that. Though I am assuming that the average ice wall theory enjoyer believes that the Earth is flat.
You ever seen the pictures? Probably type in the ice wall. That is Antarctica, right? So you can see our world in the middle. Flat earthers, or some of them, believe that beyond the...
To cite what flat earthers believe, you're going to cite another man like yourself telling us by stereotype what flat earthers believe. So you're basing what you think flat earthers believe on what another man said flat earthers believe. Oh my God. Okay.
Beyond the ice wall.
Yeah, I'm a flat earther. My name's Nathan Oakley. What's this guy's name? PolariSaurusRex. My name is Nathan Oakley. The Earth is flat. How do I know? Oh, well, that's how it's measured. Why are you asking people who want to represent what flat earthers say when they're not flat earthers as your citation for why you would think flat earthers think this? What, because other non-flat earthers say flat earthers think this? That's your standard. I've turned against you pretty quickly, PolariSaurusRex. Now, if you don't understand why, then you're stupid.
is this other world with its own continent. Saw this on Twitter the other day, and I was scrolling through it, but the replies to it are insane. Like, they genuinely are so sold on this talking about how there was this one man that went to Antarctica on his
anecdotal fallacy
expedition back in the day, and I can't remember his name, and he's got proof, and it's all up on.
I can't remember his name, but on Twitter they're all talking about it. This is your standard, Dumbo. Yep, give the man 735,000 subscribers, because this is his standard.
YouTube, apparently.
Okay. This is why I don't believe in the ice wall theory, or why I don't believe the Earth is flat.
Let me give us a toss what you believe. You can believe idiots who say there's an ice wall. You can believe idiots who say the Earth is flat. My name's Nathan Oakley, and I'm telling you that's how it's measured. If you want some demonstrations of how it's measured, no worries. I'll produce a map and show you the lines on it, and tell you how they're developed by way of measuring flat Earth elevation angles to the stars. The ones that we used to not die at sea when we expended out the territories, that you suggest I should have to speculatively expand out beyond Antarctica, because you don't believe there's not an ice wall, because you don't believe in the measurements of Earth. No one gives a toss what you believe.
It's simply due to the fact that we have pictures of Earth from space.
Oh, really? So you believe in the men in the sky vacuum, do you? Well, let me introduce you to the second law of thermodynamics and gas dispersion. That would be entropic law. Gas fills space. Need an example? You know, last time you farted in that chair, and it spread throughout your entire house, letting everybody you live with know how stinky and dirty you are. That's because gas fills space. Even when there's lots of existing high-pressure gas, which is unbonded particles, disperses throughout the gaps in all directions. Now, if the sky was a vacuum, then the gas we are breathing at high pressure would disperse into the sky vacuum. It's not the case that men in rockets, what's the word? Liars, can go past the high pressure gas that we're breathing, wave goodbye to it, and then look back on a second law of thermodynamics violation, blue marble Earth, with high pressure gas and clouds not dispersing into a 10 to the minus 17 or sky vacuum black area that apparently these liars in that sky vacuum are taking pictures from. No, mate. Gas fills space. We're breathing it. Now, in your stupid world of believing that you're standing on a spherical surface, might I add, derived from flat Earth measurements. Yeah, that's where your globe belief comes from, sunshine. Flat Earth measurements. Yeah? In your belief of a world derived from flat Earth measurements that's sphere-shaped, in that fantasy world, the very first gas particle that left the ground would travel in whatever vector it travelled in, away from the ground, and would never return. Because what gas pressure is the force that gas particle exerts on the walls of its container. Now, if you don't believe me, go and check out NASA. They'll make it explicitly clear what gas pressure is. And we're breathing it. We're at 14.7 psi of it at surface level. Surface level. Because that's how gas pressure is described, by the way, from sea level. Sea level. Because we measure Earth flat for this stuff. That aside, the flat Earth measurements of the dissipation of gas pressure moving away from the surface where it's produced, violating the idea that we could have a sky vacuum to take pictures from. Now, you, son, are just a believer. You got your little men in suits. Oh, why are they in suits? Oh, well, they need to contain the high-pressure gas they like breathing, as they look back on a blue marble with high-pressure gas, not filling the area they're in their little suits. They're just laughing at you and your stupid belief. Here on Flat Earth Debate, me, Nathan Oakley, a flat earther, will tell you why your stupid belief in a sky vacuum is not just wrong, it's a violation of natural law. Gas fills space. If the sky was a vacuum, then the gas you're breathing would be filling that space. They're not waving goodbye to it at the Carmen line to give you pictures. You're deluded.
I assume the average flat earther's response to that is going to be
Pound says it won't be what I just said.
Fake. And all I have to say...
Sorry, fake? No, I said violation of natural law. The area the images come from cannot exist. You can't take pictures from an area that isn't real, that gas isn't filling. You can't take pictures of gas not filling the area of volume that you yourself claim to be taking the pictures, would need a spacesuit to not let the gas you're breathing fill that space, but the picture you're taking has high pressure gas violating the second law of thermodynamics and not filling space, even though that's precisely what gas does. It comes from the ground, at ground level, and expands away from it at a high velocity. Now, for us to be breathing, we must have containment. Ergo, I debunk your claim of pictures from space by saying there is no sky vacuum to take the pictures from. I don't think I referred to the pictures themselves at all, did I? Correct me if I'm wrong, did I ever reference the pictures themselves? I don't think I did. I said the area that they claim to take the pictures from isn't real, because it violates a natural law, the law that would require them to have spacesuits to keep the high-pressure gas in their suit, so they can take a picture of gas not filling space on a blue marble. Totally bunk. Debunked by the second law of thermodynamics. I hope that's clear, because your assumption was wrong. Maybe it's because what you think flat earthers believe is based on what anti-flat earthers say. Like that clip you gave? Yeah, I know that's the case. Why is that the case for my audience? Well, because like I said earlier, when you search for flat earth, do you find me? No, you find an anti-flat earther telling you what flat earthers believe. So that's what he's got as his reference. Yeah? That's why I harp on so much about not putting links into our videos. He hasn't found a genuine, real flat earther, even though he's clearly searched for it. What has he found? Some stuttering, stammering numpty talking about comments that he doesn't cite and show from Twitter in a subject matter he doesn't understand and isn't a flat earther. That's what he's referencing, because that's what YouTube give him when he searches for it. That's what TikTok give him when he searches for it. Everything else has had the decree of Congress saying, don't present this. What are you doing presenting people with flat earth information that's pro-flat earth? Don't do that. So what do you general normie think of a flat earther? Well, I think this is what a flat earther thinks because a non-flat earther told me so.
Say about that is, it's really not that crazy that we can get pictures of Earth from that
second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum that gas isn't filling. Yeah, of course, they just wave goodbye to the high pressure gas at the Kármán line and then empty the vacuum that they need spaceships and spacesuits to protect them from because the gas would be filling the space. Yeah? Let me tell you a little story. I mean, it's all lies. None of it's true. It's total fiction. But there's this claimed to be problem with this spaceship called Apollo 13. What was the problem? Oh, the gas was going to fill the space. They had a rupture in one of the fuel tanks. The containment for high pressure gas. Oh no, we've got a problem. It's leaking into the sky vacuum. And what's that out of our window? Oh, a blue marble with high pressure gas. Not doing that. They're just laughing at you, stupid clown. Meanwhile, you're going to tell me how reasonable it is to assume that the men in high pressure suits looking at high pressure gas not contained is reasonable for you to believe in? Why? You're not doing it. You're believing in your sky gods, are you, in their sky vacuum? Pathetic. Pathetic religious believer.
far up. Like, really think about it. You know, on a day, it's an astonishing achievement that we can do that.
No, you don't do it. You think it's an astonishment achievement to travel to Narnia. Oh yeah, it's a real achievement to travel through that wardrobe into an area that isn't real. It's a real achievement to traverse the high-pressure gas without containment into an area it's not filling. Yeah, what an achievement. To invent that garbage that violates natural law. Gas fills space, mate. Were you unaware of the second law of thermodynamics? Were you unaware of entropic dispersion? Yeah? Think of your fart, mate. Now, it's not like your fart's going into a vacuum like that, is it? Your fart's got lots of high-pressure gas that must be under containment to have to negotiate and work its way through. How much resistance do you think a sky vacuum would offer to the high-pressure gas that you're breathing? That'd be none. It would just disperse instantly into it, leaving us at 10 to the minus 17 torus sky vacuum in your religious world and belief in a sphere-shaped surface to stand on that's been derived and calculated from flat Earth measurements. It's not reasonable to believe in sky vacuums. It's not reasonable to believe in a place akin to Narnia. It's just a belief. It's pathetic.
But when you really
Exactly,
think about
Nathan.
the amazing technology that we use on a day-to-day basis.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, Nathan. Yeah, I mean, he's talking about pictures from space. You know, he's not talking about. I mean, you know, in their world, the Greeks was supposed to have measured the Earth, wasn't they, 2,000 years ago? It's just unfortunate he's not talking about that, because if he does get to that point of how the Greeks measured Earth, he will be explaining how it was measured using angles, using the surface of Earth, and that will be a flat Earth measurement. So I can't wait till he gets to that bit, if he ever does.
No, all he's done so far is told us, he opened it by saying this is going to be all based on his belief. It's not unreasonable to believe that men have travelled to a sky vacuum. That's his basis of this claim.
Is it really that far-fetched that, like, we can put something in space and then just take a look at Earth from space? Like,
I think I just covered that, son. Very unreasonable. Yeah? About as reasonable saying you can go and take a picture of a talking lion by traversing a wardrobe. You're not going to traverse high-pressure gas at the Kármán line, wave goodbye to it, not expanding into the space available to it. That's not how gas behaves, gas-filled space. It's a law of nature. Undermining every single claim you believe in. It is unreasonable to think you can travel to Narnia, space, because it isn't real. There is no outer space, there is no sky vacuum, there are no men in high-pressure suits with cameras taking pictures of gas not filling space.
we have planes. Planes are incredible. Like, when you really think about the technology and the fact that humans actually made that happen.
Planes fly with respect to a horizontal reference. They apply a positive pitch to a horizontal plane of reference. Planes fly over a plane. They have to reference the plane to maintain lift. So what is it precisely, pray tell, about planes that you think proves a spherical surface? They've got gyroscopes in them. They're referencing horizontal quite specifically to make sure they don't fall out of the sky. And all the aviation manuals make it clear that you're going to deal with Earth as a stationary plane. You know why? Because if you assume that there's a void opening up ahead of your aeroplane, 8 inches per mile squared, then you'd potentially head towards a void that doesn't exist and crash the plane. So planes explicitly deal with Earth as a flat reference. They pitch above that flat reference to maintain lift. When they fly at an altitude described from sea level, just say that again, sea level. The altitude itself is measured with respect to a horizontal plane, sea level. Earth's flat to describe the height of the plane, the pitch of the plane, and the reference for all of it, the horizontal plane of reference, sea level. All of it utilizes and can only work if Earth is flat. Now let's see what this numpty dipshit's got to say about what planes do for a globe.
It's incredible. And then you think of like more day-to-day basis things that we use. I guess planes are as well, since there's so many flights going out every day. But every day you use the internet, you use phone.
Sorry, was it just me, or was it just like saying there are aeroplanes? Yeah, we got that. I gave several examples of how Earth must be flat for them to function. And what was your standard? Oh, just that there are aeroplanes? Yeah, give this man 750,000 subscribers. Because his standard is, Earth's obviously a globe. Why is that, son? Why is that? We've got aeroplanes. What, the ones with gyros in them referencing horizontal and altitude with respect to sea level? Those aeroplanes, son. What about them? Oh, nothing. There's the internet. Yeah, way to have some standards, son. Way to have some standards. Excellent, excellent.
Phones, you FaceTime people on the other side of the world. Think of Earth millions of years ago.
Right, was that a baseless assertion that came so quickly I couldn't even really catch it? We have internet. Yes, we do. And we talk to people on the other side of the world. Other side of the world? Was that just a very vague assumption of sphericity that you could be on the other side of? Maybe. But that's it. We have internet, therefore globe. Was that his evidence? Did I miss something there? This is a pretty poor standard of evidence, my friend.
Like, we had grass.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I can't connect internet to a flat earth proof. I'm going to struggle with that one. I say all roads lead to a flat earth. Having internet, just having internet, I don't know if I can associate that with a flat Earth. Now, they would obviously have a contrapositive claim that they've got orbital motion, and as soon as they do make that claim, I'll take orbital motion to its flat Earth prerequisite measurements, specifically radial value. Now, that flat Earth measurement will be needed to put your satellites that you might think give you your internet into an orbit. Yeah, you'll need a flat Earth for that. All roads, in terms of the current rhetoric for internet, would lead to a flat Earth. But just saying, I've got internet, I can't connect that to a flat Earth. It's so non sequitur. It's like saying we've got green grass. Well, connect that to a flat Earth. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a nice sentiment to say all roads lead to a flat Earth, but if you say grass is green and then demand that I connect that to a flat Earth, I'm going to struggle. I'm not going to lie. You know, there is a limit. And this is one of those. Internet, therefore globe. No, you're going to need a bit more meat on that bone, and if you were ever to put it on, it would be orbital mechanics, and they need flat Earth measurements also. But we won't get into it because you didn't claim it, you just made a basis assertion, so let's spin on, I guess.
And rocks and stuff.
Rocks and stuff? I've got to hear this.
And then humans come along and they create internet out of that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
sorry, you think humans created internet from rocks and stuff? The only rocks here, son, are the ones in your head. You don't know about semiconductors then? You know about quantum mechanics? Clearly not. No, we didn't get the internet and semiconductors from rocks. Wow! You guys, you're just dumb as shit. You, sir, you're stupid. Yeah, there's no other words for it. Oh, please let him know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. I'm going to put a link in his comment section. He asked for this. I didn't know that until I played the video. But he did. He's preemptively gone out on a limb and said, you know, you let me know. So let him know in his comments exactly as I and he have called for action to do. Let him know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. We laughed at you. No, don't tell him that. I'll just delete your comment. But we did. Yeah, because internet and rocks and stuff, therefore globe. Oh my God. This has to be... should I say it? I think this is the lowest standard we've ever had. Am I wrong? There was another guy that was like talking to nature. That was pretty close. Do you remember that guy? Johnny something or other, asking nature for the opinion. Oh, nature, is Earth a sphere? This is about the lowest we've had, I think, in standards. Anybody disagree?
No, I think it's up there, mate. It's, you know, they've got the audacity to call flat earthers thick. Oh, my God.
Yeah, we're not stupid, mate. You are. You're your average rank and file globe believing numpty who hasn't got the first clue about your own religion, haven't got the first clue about flat earth. You get your information on what flat earthers are and what they believe from people who aren't flat earthers. You know, your level of discernment is below par.
You're like, how the fuck... How do you even make...
Oh, that was
sorry,
him talking.
I was going to say,
it's you,
is this guy got... Yeah, sorry, you're right. I was just going to say, is this guy actually got all of his followers for stuff like this? Is this what he does?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it is what he does. We're covering the video that he's doing it in, so...
You're so right. The level, I can't believe it. I thought, like, has he just walked into this arena?
No, but I can only glean from this that this is generally how he does business, if you will. YouTube business, that is. This is his level of discernment on display for his audience. We haven't gone through the comments and seen, do his general subscriber base go, this is woeful. Now, I would imagine that they don't. You know, you don't tend to build up 750,000 subscriber base if people think that what you're saying is woeful. But in this case it is. We can only respond to what he says, you know. We're not reading between the lines, are we?
Make internet, or how do you make the first computer and a screen? Not the best way of describing.
So, yeah, you don't know. Okay. Maybe look into quantum mechanics and semiconductors. Just because you don't know, don't tar some ignorant standpoint that you hold about computing to the standard of flat earthers that you're ridiculing.
Yeah, but my point is, humans have made some really incredible things happen with technology.
No. See, if you had the slightest idea how that technology came to fruition, you'd have had to have studied the science behind the technology. See, this is the thing. when you believe in space, you have to believe in the quasi-inventions that NASA, for their billions and billions and billions of dollars that we pump into them, or you pump into them as Americans, we as ESA or whatever we're pumping our tax money into in Europe. Aside from that, whatever it is that they're pumping millions and billions into, you have to accept that there is some benefit to you as humanity. So they'll occasionally toss you a bone with Velcro or something equally crap. Yeah? Meanwhile, the technological revolution that is the internet and computing is as a direct consequence of quantum mechanics. Now, how did we come to quantum mechanics as a description, as a catch-all that's also hijacked? Well, through systematic experimentation based on hypothesis. The actualization of said hypothesis gave us scientific validation. And that scientific validation turned into technology. It's only upon people seeing the technology that they start to gain an appreciation, or not in the case of this guy, for the science that gave them that technology. Yeah? So science actually advances humanity. This is a perfect example of exactly that. The technology isn't the science. That comes afterwards. After a lot of idiot, numpty, general public globe believers, they've been deluded into thinking that technology is science. No, it isn't. But you do see the fruits of science in technology. You do not see the fruits of lies about being in sky vacuums from NASA. But occasionally I'll have to toss you a bone and make it seem like their non-science of sky vacuums does actually produce some merit and some advancement in technology. It really doesn't. Quantum mechanics, on the other hand, and always will be advancing the human condition. Thanks to science that you don't understand, son. Look into it. Cause and effect reasoning based on natural phenomena. Systematic experimentation based on hypothesis. It's called the scientific method. That's where you get your technology from.
And it's really not that far-fetched or hard to believe that we can look at Earth from space. On top of that...
No, you can't. Because the high-pressure gas you're looking at would be dispersing into the 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum that's claimed to be surrounding it. The black areas claim to be a vacuum. The blue areas claim to be high-pressure gas. No, you can't have high-pressure gas not filling a sky vacuum. It's absurd. So it is utterly ridiculous to think that men you believe in are up in their sky suits so that they don't die from the high-pressure expansion from their suits into the vacuum. But the Earth, it doesn't suffer the same problem. Don't worry about it. It doesn't need a container. We just traversed all that high-pressure gas and waved goodbye to it at the Kármán line. No worries. Other than it being a violation of natural law that makes it completely bunk and not real and totally unreasonable to believe in. I don't need to believe in it.
I know space is a big thing with the flat Earth theory, right?
So your claim of a sky vacuum is a big thing in my theory? What kind of a dumbass says that? It's like me saying, this guy's flat Earth is a really big part of his globe ideas. Well, what do you know? I can justify that statement because it is. The measurements of Earth as a flat plane turn into your globe belief. But your sky vacuum that surrounds your spherical globe that's been derived from flat Earth measurements, that vacuum has nothing to do with me. Why would you suggest, oh, I know, it's because YouTube only present anti-flat earthers to people. So what an anti-flat earther says is what a flat earther believes. No, mate, you have a sky vacuum. The sky vacuum's not a big part of my quote-unquote theory. It's not theory-based. You're in a category error. This isn't science. The shape of Earth isn't a cause and effect situation. It's not like we're studying the diffraction of light. It's not like we're trying to undo and unpack phenomena to result in scientific validation in terms of quantum mechanics. That's not what we're doing when we look at Earth as a plane and measure it as a plane and have you guys assert that somehow that is our theory, including your sky vacuum. Man, get a grip. Maybe find out what flat earthers actually say rather than some idiot talking about comments in Twitter. Your standards are garbage.
I don't know if they believe in space, because, like, if...
So you just told me it was a big part of what we do, and now you're questioning whether we have to believe in it or not. Now, I debunk it with the second law of thermodynamics. You believe in it, you stupid clown.
You're assuming that Earth is flat, then do you...
No, it's measured that way. There's no assumption when we take elevation angle measurements, for instance, to Polaris. to give us the latitude system. That's a flat Earth measurement of Earth. Think that's a belief, do you, Dumbo? Now, maybe if you looked into how Earth was measured, you'd know how Earth was measured and you wouldn't have to stick by your globe beliefs. Don't project your belief in this crap onto us that know it's measured flat. We know it's flat.
You think the moon is flat and...
Did we say the moon is flat? Ipso facto, you only get a two-dimensional view of it. You don't have binocular vision to the moon, so you can only describe it that way and infer sphericity. We covered this yesterday. Yeah, guy, you need to get a grip. You need to actually learn about what you're looking at and how you're viewing it. If you're going to try and suggest that it's automatically the case that we've got a three-dimensional sphere in the sky, how'd you prove that? Oh, looked at it with a telescope. What? Monocular vision? Non-3D? Non-stereoscopic?
All the other planets are flat as well.
What, the little lights in the sky that you think are soil? Ignoring the expansion of the known world with the new worlds that are now colonized, you believe that the soil is actually up in the sky. We didn't discover any soil in the sky. You know, we've had claimed to be rocks that have come back that turned out to be wood. And then they started saying that we could get the same things from Antarctica for whatever reason. I mean, that cluster screw aside, we have definitely found new worlds, haven't we? And we definitely had resources on them and soil and places to build. Is there any examples of that in the twinkling lights you believe men in sky vacuums can travel to? No, there aren't any. Just wood that was claimed to be moon rocks. I mean, Antarctic rocks. Whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Don't really know how that works in the flat earth theory, so you can let me know down below.
I just did. You get a two-dimensional view of them. You can infer sphericity through sunspots and libration. That's about it.
But one thing I'll say is that there are things that you can get your hands on right now, publicly available telescopes. Might cost you.
Do they offer three-dimensionality to your view, son, do they? Yeah? Clearly someone's never looked through a telescope. You stupid idiot. Maybe that gives you three-dimensionality, does it? Do telescopes give you a three-dimensional view of the moon? You stupid boy.
Cost you quite a bit of money, but there are things that you can get, even just cameras.
Not a three-dimensional view. The thing you're appealing to, you clown.
And you can just look at the moon for yourself.
Two-dimensionally through the telescope. You're going to mention that fact, right? Let's see.
You can look at, like, stars and planets and shit. Like, they're just there, you know? You can see them.
And
the technology is, you know, we've done so many...
We could see the stars and the internet! Technology! Yeah, that's a wonderful appeal. It really worked well last time too.
Things that it's really not that hard to believe that we can go up to space.
Yeah, we've covered that multiple times, haven't we? You're not going to a sky vacuum. You're definitely not going there because you can't go there, but men who lie to you say they do. Watch gas not filling space in a little suit that prevents their gas filling the same space.
He's saying
that
up
is my
to space?
reason why I'm not...
I believe he did. Should we hear that again?
Can see them.
Yes,
the
please.
technology is, you know, we've done so many things that it's really not that hard to believe that we can go up to space.
Oh dear. See, for your globe belief, you'd need to go out from the spherical surface because there is no up. There is no horizontal plane of reference to describe up from. That would be vertical. Yeah, you'll need a flat Earth for this description. A bit like when I describe the altitude of an aeroplane with respect to sea level. You know, so they can cruise with respect to the flat plane they're flying over and describe the height and altitude with respect to sea level. Yeah, that's because you need a horizontal plane of reference to go up from vertically. You don't have that on a globe. You need to modify your language in your belief, numpty. Out, I think the word was. In your belief, reified into existence from flat Earth measurements of these stars. The ones you appeal to being soil in the sky. Because we haven't justified what's beyond Antarctica when we've already expanded the known world flat. Seems like we've overcome every part of your garbage that you have been led to believe in a globe with. Pretty poor standard, son. Pretty poor standard. We've got measurements. Trump that.
That is my reason why I'm not a flat earther or...
That wasn't a very good reason, was it? Because of technology that the rocks and computers came from. Great standards.
And
Well, given that he's just said that's why he doesn't believe in a flat earth, let me tell you as Nathan Oakley, the flat earther that actually is representative of this subject matter. I know Earth is measured flat. Do you know how I know? Because that's how it's measured. And if you don't believe me, go and have a look at the little lines that you've got wrapped around your globe called latitude. Because they can only and are only measured on a flat Earth. And they're fundamental to your globe. So a denial of the flat Earth measurements, in this case of Polaris, means you're denying the base premise, the genesis of your globe belief. Where do you think those lines came from on your sphere tard? Where do you think they came from? I'll tell you, they came from flat Earth measurements. No belief. And it's the same measurements you need to believe in a globe. Hope that's clear. Your garbage wasn't a reason to not trust flat Earth measurements because some numpty told you what Twitter commenters said about flat earthers and their belief. I've told you, it's measured flat. Earth is measured flat.
Ice wall theory enjoyer.
Did you know there's a theory out there that suggests Antarctica is not just an ordinary icy land mass at the bottom of the Earth? Some believe that it's actually a massive ice wall encircling all continents, but that...
Who are these some that believe this? Are they going to be referenced? Or is this just a baseless stereotyping fallacy from a faceless TikToker? Oh, it's a baseless stereotyping fallacy from a faceless TikToker that we don't know is a flat earther. Is it his view? Because he seems to be positioning this, the faceless TikToker that is, as it's being other people's view. Yet another example of this idiot being presented what Congress have demanded you must receive. Never will you receive a flat earther's opinion on what he believes. Always will it be the anti-flat earther's representation of what they say we believe. Exactly as is the case here again. I can't fully blame him for that. He's just typed in flat earth and definitely not found us. That would be flat earthers. Congress have made sure of that.
That's not all. According to this theory, beyond that icy barrier lie hidden continents waiting to...
Oh, really? I wonder where you got those ideas from that you peddled. Was it because you'd watched this particular TikTok video? Yeah, of course, that's why he's citing it. To justify it after he said it. Like, it's his idea, and here's what's backing it. No, you watched this TikTok video and got the idea to stereotype us and strawman us with the idea that we must show what's beyond an Antarctic ice wall we don't claim. I bet you weren't expecting me to describe the mapping of the territory flat with the stars that are measured flat and the new worlds we definitely did discover in our recent history. Oh, you thought I had to prove what was beyond Antarctica? Nah, I can do it with recent maps. Here you go. That's how much flat Earth we had here, and that's how much we had afterwards. More! With loads of resources. Check it out. Since then, we found even more new worlds. And colonised them. It's almost like every aspect of our known expansion of the territory has been done flat. Oh, but we could ignore all of that in favour of justifying something that we haven't explored, because we're told that we believe there's more out there. Well, we don't need to show there's more. We've already discovered plenty flat, haven't we? We use the stars to do it, otherwise we'd have died at sea. We wouldn't have found our way home but for celestial navigation and the flat Earth angles we must measure to do it. That's how we actually expanded the known world. Flat. It's still done that way to this day. The latitude grid I pointed out earlier for you to have a little look at, maybe figure out how it's measured. Yeah, that's still used to this day. We're still measuring Earth flat. The latitude grid absolutely requires it. It's a flat Earth angle measurement to Polaris, wrapped around your globe surface that can't give you that measurement. Just so you're aware, I'll reiterate it again. The Earth is measured flat, including for your globe belief.
To be discovered. It's like something out of a fantasy novel, isn't it?
So if I was to describe the expansion into the new worlds, does that sound like a fantasy novel? Because you're asking for that exact story, but with an area that isn't discovered. But if I just give you the exact same example and say, well, if you were someone 500 years ago, you'd be looking at maps that didn't include all these new worlds. Now, we use the stars to travel to the horizon and beyond. I wonder what they used to call that area. You know, before the new worlds were discovered. What did they call that area? Flat out towards the horizon. Can anyone tell me what they used to call that area? The unknown worlds beyond the horizon. Anybody care to tell me what that used to be called?
Outer space.
It used to be called outer space before the new worlds were discovered, didn't it? So, just so we're clear about the story, not yours that you force upon us by strawman about ice walls and land beyond them. In our known history, we travelled towards the horizon to an area referred to as outer space and found new worlds. We found our way home by use of the flat Earth only elevation angle measurements to the stars and the celestial navigation systems that are still in place to this day and wrapped around your sphere that you believe in. They still function flat, and they are the genesis of your globe faith. Just so we're absolutely clear, because you feel you need an answer to that story with ice walls. No, you can have it from our recent history with absolutely no doubt of its validity. We did expand the territories flat. We did travel out towards outer space, beyond the horizon, on a flat Earth, and we did find new worlds. What's that? I should ignore all of that in favour of the new worlds that are twinkling lights that we've never found any of, and violate natural law to get to, and only liars in sky vacuums have said they can travel to? No, mate, I'm afraid not. The distances they claim for these vast, far-away worlds that we'll never reach because they're so far away, those claimed distances are also calculations and extrapolations based on flat Earth measurements. The same measurements! That's where you get your inferred distances to these stars. From flat Earth extrapolations based on flat Earth measurements. Just so we're all clear, I'll say it once more. Earth is measured flat.
It sure is. It sure is. I think it...
I don't think there's a better note to round out the live show, and I thought I'd get a comment out of you lot, but I didn't.
Would be cool if we discovered an ice wall and that there's loads of life forms and other continents on the outside of it.
What, like aliens? What is it they call those people that travel from one new world to maybe the previously discovered territories? I wonder what they call them. Oh yeah, they call them aliens. Now, they don't like that term in political circles at the moment. It's displaced person. Yeah, aliens. That's just too suggestive of what we're trying to lie about the sky vacuum and the soil in that sky and the aliens on that would be, if you are under the misapprehension that the new worlds discovered flat with the aliens on them were anything other than a true fact in our recent history that we did actually discover when travelling on a flat Earth to the new worlds in outer space. Not the sky, the one beyond the horizon when measuring it flat. Shout out to Jomo. I pay to hear you debate Nathan at Craig Danks. Since you're here, don't be shy like me. I think someone from the super chat's enticing someone else from the live stream YouTube chat to actually join the show, which you may feel free to do. The link's in the info box below this video. We go out daily. Feel free to join the Discord server. It's extremely well moderated, not by me.
One of my questions is, why don't we just fly
Thank you for the super chat, Jomo.
over the ice wall? I just find it hard to believe that there is a...
We have literally one of us, Robert Shortman, piloted a plane over the ice wall. The bit that is, you know, unequivocally there and definitely been visited, and we definitely have anecdotes from Robert Shortman of him flying over it. What would that prove precisely? Oh, maybe it's the internet and the rocks and stuff.
A wall surrounding all of the continents, and no one has really discovered it yet. Not many people have discovered it.
So what have we discovered? Oh, the new world's flat. Yeah? You listening to me, sunshine?
Not many people from the other side have visited. Isn't it just going to melt at some point anyway?
Have you ever heard of the Gleason map?
That's a global projection. I wonder how this will be misrepresented.
It's a map that was published in 1992, and it shows Antarctica in...
1992? There's a date literally on the as it is map that's 1880 something. It says it right on the map. 1992. Go on, Brian.
Yeah, this guy is saying, what did he say? Nobody found these ice walls or something like that?
Yeah,
A minute ago?
other than the pictures of ice walls, yeah.
Because that Antarctica is claimed to be the highest continent on Earth, and there's ice walls surrounding its perimeter. yeah, they're there. Doesn't mean they're surrounding a flat plain, but they're definitely there. If you go by the mainstream official narrative. Good pictures.
Yeah, they're easy to come by. Plenty of people have gone to Antarctica. One of our own, Robert Shortman, gave us accounts of it. Big deal.
You could only just...
Go on.
You could just explore Google. Find them there. You don't even have to go to Antarctica. Now, if you want to go there and confirm they're there, it's up to you. But no, Google will show you pictures of ice walls in Antarctica. They have nothing to do with flat Earth.
No. What would you say about the expansion of the known territory? You know, finding new worlds out in the territory or space. Start that again. Out in the area beyond the horizon, formerly known as outer space. Would you say that's got anything to do with flat Earth, Brian?
That's everything to do with it. You can't discover those things unless you traverse a flat Earth.
You're going to have to repeat that. That was too Irish. I'm not even joking.
Well, that's got everything to do with flat Earth because you can't traverse. You can't find those places without traversing a flat Earth. You have to navigate your way there to travel. All travel and navigation will be flat.
It was the word traverse. Traverse, I couldn't... The Irish accent and the word traverse just didn't mix well.
All right.
For me, I love Brian. He's wonderful. I'm not suppressing him in any way.
All the other continents. Coincidence? Maybe not. Some people point to the United Nations logo, which oddly resembles this very same map.
Yeah, that's because it's the same azimuthal equidistant projection of a globe. Let me just break it down for you. I'm going to miss out, for the sake of dumbing this down slightly, the have-a-sign conversion process step and give it in a dumbed-down version. You take elevation angle measurements to Polaris. They give you circles of equal elevation. That would be, say, concentric circles working your way out from the point below Polaris to the equator, as we name it. Each of those circles is representative of a 1 degree measurement with respect to Polaris. 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles travelled. You will see 1 degree of declination when you measure Earth flat with a sextant to devise this system of Polaris-centric areas of equal elevation. That's flat circles on a flat ground measured with flat angles to Polaris. The minimum elevation angle to Polaris being the radial value or outside edge of a sphere. That would be to say that the distance measured at 1 degree for every 60 nautical miles declination of Polaris to its minimum at 0 or 180, depending on how you want to look at it, that gives you the outside edge of a sphere and radial value, calculable in all things heliocentric. So, that's how you derive flat Earth measurements into global positions that you would call latitude. Those latitude positions can then be transposed, and that's where I'm leaving out a big chunk of transposition, onto a globe. We're all aware that we have latitude measurements, and we are all aware that those lines are wrapped around a globe. Well, you can take that globe that does no longer comport with the measurements of the angles to give you the circles around it, and project the points of a spherical surface-based map onto points on a tube wrapped around the spherical surface. Now, those points then project out onto the tube from the sphere, and then you can cut them down the middle and describe them as a Mercator projection. That will give you a flat, square grid projection. This, that's the AE projection, Gleason's map, and United Nations flag, are all a Polaris-centric azimuthal equidistant projection of the same thing. That is to say, you can pick any point on the globe and project it out in a circular fashion. Now, if you project it from the Arctic, that's from the North Pole, then the island on the bottom of the globe you are projecting is distorted to the outside edges of the azimuthal equidistant Polaris-centric projection. Why do I say Polaris-centric? Because you can project it from anywhere. Any point from the globe can project out in this way. So, given that that's the case, it would leave you with an outside edge that's described on a globe as an island called Antarctica. Now, from that global projection of a flat Earth measured system called latitude, you end up with this distorted, garbage, god-awful globe projection. And some of them have laurel reefs, or whatever these are, or ice walls wrapped around in place of Antarctica. That's just how the projection of a globe using flat Earth measurements works. Doesn't mean anything, it's not our map. And anybody who's got a reasonable understanding of flat Earth and how globes are created and how these projections are created wouldn't ascribe themselves as a flat earther to it as a flat Earth map when it isn't. It's gone through several conversions. The origins of this map are flat, the latitude system specifically. But that doesn't make this a flat Earth map. It's a globe projection, utilizing the flat Earth elevation angle measurements to give you a Polaris-centric, flat Earth only system. Hope that's clear. Did I miss anything, Brian?
No, it's just longitude also is measured. It's not just latitude, but longitude, because that's what you're measuring to get to latitude. But that kind of goes hand in hand with it.
Yeah, but I didn't also explain PZX triangles and Haversine conversions and projecting from the center of hell. I don't want to make it too complicated for somebody who's let's be gentle with him. Dumb as shit. I've got to keep it relatively dumbed down, haven't I? If this guy's actually going to be listening to us, if I start going into Haversine conversions and PZX triangles, he'll just be lost, won't he?
No, it's just longitude. Longitude. You don't have to do it any nonsense.
Okay, well,
it's just the line you're measuring from the line you're measuring from the center, the GP point of Polaris to yourself, the observer, is a portion of a longitude line. But that then is the radius of a latitude, a circle of latitude. No worries.
That's worth dropping it in. I think you're right. It's not that complicated. It's not like he's going to struggle with it.
Well, no, you what's the word? Not intimated it. Intimated it? No.
Yeah, intimated.
You inferred it. Yeah, intimated. You intimated it when you say latitude anyway. It's just if you don't say it, people might go, what about longitude? Do you reckon anyway? It's like the people may not understand that they're both connected or whatever.
I can't remember. I think there was a point with 10th Band when we were originally going through this, probably 3 years ago now, where there was kind of a universal decision made that in order to keep it simple enough for your average Joe skank and file globe believer to understand, latitude itself was sufficient. In other words, without overcomplicating it, you can explain, like we've now refined to a point, right? How Earth's measured flat with that as a really basic system to explain. Now, you can go on to prove Earth's flat with latitude and longitude simultaneously, but it just makes it one step more complicated than it potentially needs to be. I'm not decrying it, and I'm not saying that it's not worth adding each time, just in case people go, well, does the longitude system make it a ball? Well, no.
No, I'm just saying, instead of saying latitude, just say latitude and longitude. Great. Just add in the and longitude. So there's no great. So there's no one. Listen, the world is full of people who don't know, right? And there's going to be loads of people out there who will go, what about the other one? Is it longitude, longitude? You know what I mean? Then I'm going to.
I love how Brian feigns to be ignorant. Oh, is there something? Lat. It's like he's divining it from a bleeding crystal ball. What was the word, oh crystal ball? I'm seeing an L. That's not how dumb people are. They don't know what they don't know.
No, Brian's saying if you don't add longitude, they'll say, see, it's the ball. You didn't add longitude.
All you have to say is latitude and longitude, great, and just carry on. You don't have to say anything else.
Okay, fine.
Because within, if someone wants to ask you about latitude, you're including the longitude because that's what's measured to give you your latitude. You're measuring a portion of longitude.
Yes, indeedy.
Could it be a hidden message? Who knows?
Like, I would like to believe it because it is a cool idea. Like, just imagine.
All right, well, you don't need to believe it. I can give you one step better. We measure Earth flat. We've given you plenty of examples of it. So there's no need for belief. You know, suggesting that you'd substitute your current belief for a new belief is kind of sad. You know, it just says you're fickle.
Imagine that. It's kind of like, you know, with the whole thing with planets. Like, I believe that there are life on other planets because of just how...
Because in the known history, we expanded out the known territory, found new worlds with aliens on them, and therefore the little twinkling lights in the sky are soiled with people living on them. Now, you see, I can give an absolute categorical example of finding new worlds with new people on them. Can't I? In our recent history, you can't give any examples of that because there aren't any. It's a violation of natural law to assert we can even travel to the lights, because you'd be travelling through a sky vacuum in that rhetoric. Go ahead. Is it Brian?
Sorry, yeah. I believe that Lamborghinis are better than Ferraris. Lamborghinis are really cool.
Yeah, and? They are really cool.
That's the standard you're dealing with.
I see. I got you. What you're saying is the standard is, I believe Lamborghinis are really cool, but I'm willing to be convinced that Ferraris are better. Okay. Who cares?
No, really cool.
They're really cool. I can convince you of that, and you'll believe me at the end that they're cooler.
Even maybe more cool. Or I don't know. I think Lambos are totally cool. You know, that's what you're dealing with. How can you expect anyone who says what that guy just said? How can you expect that person to ever get his facts correct?
How many there are. You just have to believe that there are life forms on at least a couple.
Yeah, there's his standard. It's pouring out of him. You just have to believe. No, we don't. You can believe anything you like. Believe it, mate. Yeah? No offence to me taken. You believe you're on a spinning water ball flying through a sky vacuum in violation of natural law based on flat Earth measurements. Believe it. Yeah, and I'm going to ask you to trade your belief for my belief because I don't have one. I know it's flat. You can know it too now I've told you. Hopefully my audience has been letting you know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. If you've only recently joined the live stream, I'm going to be putting a link to this guy's video, sharing the YouTube algorithmic love that has been decreed by Congress. We definitely will not be receiving. The name of the video is The Flat Earth and Ice Wall Theories by PolariSaurusRex. So check him out. Let him know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. There is a link going by in the live stream chat now. The idea being, if he was to respond, he'd put a link to my video and help us in the YouTube algorithmic love that we definitely do not get from YouTube by decree of Congress. Shout out to Jomo. He says, I'm in the pub with no lunch in my stomach, feeling a bit more relaxed than usual, 3 pints in the gullet. Sun crisps in the me. Is that a drunk misspell? Sun and crisps in me in supporting more freely. Love you, Nathan. No homo. Oh, no homo taken. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. Even if it didn't make sense, but you did qualify why 3 pints in you. 3 pints is not the same. I assume you're English, right? Jomo, you don't have to super chat to let me know. 3 pints in England is a lot stronger than 3 pints in America. So 3 pints, you can be 3 sheets to the wind.
Of those planets, at the very least. So if there's all of a sudden a major discovery of an ice wall and life outside of the ice wall, that'd be huge, because then the...
Gave you an example of it. I mean, there wasn't an ice wall in it, there was known territories. You know, in some of the maps you've got various different, what you could call walls around the territories, limits of it. And then I can show you newer examples that have expanded territories called new worlds on them. So I can satisfy that standard with historic proof of it. It's just you think you need to be asking for something that is unreasonable to be asking for. Well, give us the, what, extra outer space discoveries that haven't been made yet? No, you see, at a certain point we were told that no, there are no new lands out in outer space. In fact, outer space isn't out towards the horizon anymore. It's up in the sky. And there's no more land to find. We're on a ball. But it's okay to believe that and believe that the men in suits when looking for the soil in the sky? No, definitely not.
There's new life and new places on Earth itself. Not even just light years away, on Earth itself. But
where'd you get light years from? It's a flat Earth measurement at its base, its origin. Yeah? Maybe you were unaware that these distances that are extrapolated out from flat Earth radial values that are measured with respect to these stars. Maybe you were unaware you need a flat Earth to extrapolate out these light years.
That's like that's crazy to me. It's crazy. We have a view of Earth. There is no ice wall.
Sorry, who's we? Sorry, did you include yourself in your lying men in spacesuits looking at high-pressure gas not filling a sky vacuum? Was that a we that includes you? Your belief has now extended beyond the sky vacuum you can't travel to? I see. No, you don't have that. You just believe in other men who have lied to you, just to make that clear. You can't include you in that. You didn't experience a sky vacuum. You never will. It doesn't exist. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's something, and I'm sure we all did it. I definitely did it. Was when I first came into the subject in 2015 as a flat earther. Every baller had, we done this, we know that, we this, we that, we the other thing. So what is we, right? Because we've all asked them the question and none of them have been able to answer, right? We, what does that mean? It means that they're appealing to consensus because they don't actually know. It's like a subconscious thing. We know this, we know. It's like, no, that's a subconscious thing where you're appealing to some consensus in the hope that what you're saying is true. Do you know what I mean? Oh, we know we have photos from outer space. We know that gravity does blah blah. It's like, how do you know that? You know, or there's experts out there. That's literally what I got myself now. That's what I got in 2015 when I tried to hold very early on when I first came into it. Like literally within the first week or two. Who's this we person? And they can't do anything other than point to some secretive experts. Who knows? Who you wouldn't understand if they told you because you're a stupid flat earther. Do you know what I mean? This is what you have. So when they say we, it's a direct appeal to consensus because they don't know. If they knew, they just would be saying it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they'd be showing it. They just tell you how much they believe in it. It's interesting. The more I traverse this subject, the more I start to hear this word from our opponents. They accept this as a belief. So it must be the case that it's been peddled into their subconscious as a belief. So that it can be fundamentally undone at some point if need be. Because it was only a belief and you already knew it.
That we see on Earth. Why have we not been there yet? I just, what's the point of hiding it? I don't understand why collectively every government in the world would collectively hide this information.
The information you're strawmanning us as having a standard to provide when it hasn't been discovered yet and isn't there to be described yet. No, what I do is I take it to a more recent historical example where it has absolutely been expanded flat. Yeah? I'm not going to take your unreasonable strawman standard when I've got a perfectly good historical standard to demonstrate my point that Earth is measured flat and the known expansion of the known territories into the outer space formerly beyond the horizon area definitely happened. Yeah? You need to believe that there's a government conspiracy stopping us from knowing something that we haven't suggested we would be proving. Yeah? Because you've got all your information from anti-flat earthers about what we believe rather than actually checking with us.
I can make up a theory outside of...
Hello, QE. Good to have you.
Did he say that there might be life beyond the ice wall? Did he say that?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
You're about to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks. There is life beyond the ice wall. Penguins.
Yeah?
No, penguins aren't on the ice wall. Penguins are on the shore.
On the ice wall. Penguins.
Are they?
They are.
They stand corrected.
They're very good climbers.
Of the ice wall are big dragons. Okay? Now, when dragons get the scent of humans, they'll...
See, we get ridiculed for being conspiratards when we talk about how Earth is measured flat. Why? Well, because we're represented for what we're not by other people who aren't us. Then this guy, saying, whoa, how is it unreasonable to believe in an area I've never been to and violates natural law? Perfectly reasonable. Now listen to my opinions on dragons.
They'll fly over the ice wall and attack the world. That being said, the governments across the world are hiding this information so that...
You're now making this claim, by the way. This is your stupid garbage, not ours. You're making this stupid crap up, not us. Just to be clear.
No clumsy travellers climb the ice wall, lure the dragons over the wall, and wreak havoc all over the world as we know it. I actually fucking believe that myself now. I've just convinced myself that there's an ice wall now. Shit, I want dragons to be real.
Again?
No swearing.
Well, of course I want dragons to be real. Like, yeah, they're probably going to be, you know, very...
So you're a bleeding fantasist then? You're just a dumbass fantasist who wants fantasies of dragons to be real. Did you want Transformers to be real too, son? Yeah? You want sky vacuums to be real too? Yeah? Did you want to be an astronaut when you were a kid? You still are. You're a fantasist. We, however, we implore our audience to look at the measurements of Earth and understand how the globe has been derived from those measurements. Earth is measured flat. You think it's a belief.
Disruptive and obviously not friendly, but...
Yep.
Sorry, just quick. A lot of people, YouTubers, decide to broach this topic, right? And you would have to say 99% of them. They broach the topic, either there's probably a top percentage of them who are broaching it because it causes them serious problems, right, mentally. But there's a big sector of YouTubers and whatever as TikTokers who broach the topic just as kind of to make a video, you know, just for views. You know, I would just do this topic today. Tomorrow we'll do joint guerrillas or whatever. You know what I mean? Something about Iraq. You know, it's just another topic to make a video about, right? Not realizing that because they don't do any research and have no understanding of the situation and the unbelievable implications of the situation, because they belittle it and don't even learn anything about it, they actually end up making themselves look really bad. Because people who are flat earthers can point out how stupid they are. So they're trying to make a video for views about this topic that they think they can hand wave away. And all they do is make themselves look stupid. Because flat earthers end up going to the channel and telling them, making videos about it, just like you're doing here, about their video and pointing things out. Flat side will probably do something similar. You know, and other people. You know, I'm sure there's loads of flat earthers on TikTok will do similar. So this one video this guy's making that he thinks is just like, we just broached this topic. I don't need to learn that and just whatever. He's just showing how stupid he is.
Yeah, totally agree.
Sabine Hossenfelder tried to do it, and she tried to do it. She tried to just make a video about flat Earth, and then she had to make a second one, and then a while ago she went with a third one, which was just completely her just in a panic about flat Earth. I thought it was a random topic that you could just breeze over. It's not. As soon as you open that kind of worms, you know, there is dragons.
Yeah, he wants to take it to a world of fantasy so he can say, oh yeah, I want to believe in dragons. I understand the dumbass comparison he's trying to draw. He's saying, look, in a world where dragons are real, then that's all well and good and fantastical. And I want to believe in that. Like the flat earthers believe in their fantastical world where there isn't a sky vacuum in violation of natural law to go to, like I believe in. That's how he's making this comparison. It's stupid, but that's what he's doing. Another shout out to Jomo. Says, sorry, I'm in a lovely beer garden too. I'm American, living in Blighty since 1992, and I love the UK. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Excellent.
And Brian, I got a request. Can you define real quick?
You're such a sod.
I mean, imagine seeing a dragon flying in the sky. That would be very cool. Plus, I think we have the technology to shoot down a dragon at this point anyway. But whether we're talking about the ice wall theory or the flat earth
either of them are theories. You know what science is?
Theory. My reasons for not believing them are fairly similar. Pictures of Earth.
From sky vacuums that we debunked at length.
I believe are real, because it's not really that hard to believe.
Other than the violation of natural law and that you've never ever experienced it. Just the belief. But it's not difficult for you to believe. Well, that's lovely to know how easily duped you are.
And number two, we can see things in the sky. We can look into the sky with telescopes or...
Yeah, we do. We measure Earth flat with those stars. We've developed our navigation systems. The latitude and longitude grid have been developed with those lights in the sky to form grids that you will subsequently wrap around your globe. Yeah, you need a flat Earth for these lights in the sky. You also only have a two-dimensional through to a telescope, son. I don't really want to readdress this. I feel like I'm getting dumber as I'm telling you.
Cameras or just anything and see what's out there to a certain degree. And there are some more...
Degree? Like an angle measurement off a flat Earth. Boom, boom!
specific reasons I don't believe the ice wall theory.
Don't need to, son. No need. The reason it's in the rhetoric is to make an unreasonable standard where we have to justify some area we've never, ever been to. Meanwhile, we have expanded the known territories. I've covered it in several guises during this coverage.
Nathan.
Regarding the ice wall, it's...
Nathan.
That's me, yes.
You know the way we've been charging them with forever looking up towards the sky? When it comes to globe proof, for years and years and years, now it's getting tricky because of celestial navigation and astronomy and stuff. Our understanding of those topics have grown. But why are they always looking up towards the sky? Because that's where your belief lives. Because as soon as you start looking horizontally out towards reality, the 3D reality you're stuck in, it's not a globe. That's why they're constantly going to the sky. Constantly. This is why. It's purely down to that. If I look straight up, I don't have to look at reality. You know what I mean? I can believe whatever I want about that light up there and make up a big thing and say it's a globe. Whereas if I look straight out at the horizon, that's not geometric. That isn't blocking things due to a geometric globe edge blockage. If I look from one mountain to another, I will be seeing the other mountain. Chicago is there. You know, things like that. That's what will happen, isn't it? So quick, look to the sky and believe.
Self, like, again, it not really being there on a map, and two, why can't we just, like, go there and fly over it already? You know, like, what's the point? Like, there might be an ice wall in Antarctica that you can see with your own eyes.
Yeah, that's not a might. I'm pretty certain that there is. I've had first-hand testimony of someone who spent time there. This isn't up for debate.
But what happens if you scale it, you go over it, and it's just...
Yeah, go ahead.
Has someone just messaged him to say that there is an ice wall officially? Because they say this island is the highest continent on their globe. So that means that there has to be, and that they show photos of an ice cliff. You know what I mean? It's like, no, there might be an ice wall. No, there is an ice wall. According to your official claim, there is an ice wall. Oh, sorry, the official claim.
It doesn't seem to understand the difference between what he can believe in, that's places he couldn't go, versus places people have and do go, that are really easy to double check, even if you're not there yourself. Yeah, I'm 99.9% certain that every first-hand account of somebody down there, or the first-hand account of the recent TikTok videos I watch of people stationed in Antarctica, I don't disbelieve any of them. It's not like because you've got a belief standard with most of the crap that you spew, even when it comes to what your opponent believes, you've got a belief about that too. Doesn't mean that everything is standardized by whether or not it could be or couldn't be true and whether or not you'll believe in it. You don't need to believe in certain things. Yeah, there is definitely an ice wall in Antarctica. Now, if you'd have actually researched the straw man you're attempting to use, perhaps you'd appreciate that that straw man is being asserted based on the azimuthal equidistant projection of a globe to give you the actually in existence place called Antarctica projected out after reification of a globe that won't give you the measurements that created it. A flat Earth will.
Hundreds of miles of ice, and it just turns out you're in Antarctica. But like I said, if you...
There are hundreds of miles of ice. I would go with that, yeah? I'd say, yeah, hundreds of miles. That's a far cry from the 74,000 miles that we're strawman with, though, isn't it?
Or an ice wall. If you're a flat earther, you can let me know down below, and you can tell me the facts or what you believe are the facts. Feel.
No, it's not what we believe are the facts. Right, fact: Earth is measured flat. Please let this guy know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. I'll put a link in the live stream chat. Leave him a polite comment, maybe check out his other material, help him in the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully he'll make a response and put a link to our video. But yeah, he's like you just heard several times, his call to action. He wants a response. He wants telling. He wants to know what he could or couldn't believe in, but he's going to get one step better than that, isn't he? You're going to get a notch above that, mate. You're going to get told what is the world in terms of how it's measured and how you have come to believe you're on a globe based on those measurements of a flat Earth turned into a globe.
Feel free to correct me as well down below if you...
Consider yourself corrected.
If you feel like I'm wrong, I'll read it. Like, I'm genuinely interested.
Good. Your sky vacuum's a sham and Earth is measured flat.
I'll take a look at what you have to say. That being said, ladies and gents, today is the release day of Super Mario RPG. When this video goes out, it will not be the release day, but it'll be like a week or two ahead because I'm scheduling some videos. But that doesn't change the fact that today is the release day, so I want to go and play that game now. So I'll see you all.
Fair enough. I hope you're a good Mario player. Yeah, maybe stick to that because this was an embarrassment. You know, if you're a good Mario player, just do that. Having a cursory interest because you presumably spotted that if you make a flat Earth video and you're negative about it, your video will get a ton of views. Because people still search for the subject frequently, but they just get directed to people like you, regardless of how stupid you are. Yeah, it might make you a few quid, but the next thing you know, you've got a bit of attention from the actual flat earthers that you're misrepresenting, calling out how dumb you are, with really clear-cut examples of your stupidity and belief. You're wearing it right on your sleeve, aren't you? You said it about 1 million times in the video. Belief, belief, belief. Well, don't have a belief, son. Yeah? Let us relinquish you of your belief structures. Earth's measured flat. Go ahead.
Does he have a belief in that game?
I don't know. Maybe it was released on that day. We'll have to check what he believes at a later stage, I guess, about Super Mario RPG.
You know what, Nathan? You know when you're younger, and yeah, as you're becoming like in your teenage years and into early teenage years, you notice that some people are popular, right? There's no particular reason why they're popular. Excuse me, they're not popular because they're highly intelligent, or they're not popular because everything they do has some kind of cool factor to it. They're just popular. Some people are just popular, right? And it doesn't last. As in, when I say it doesn't last, they'll always probably be, it's more like they're non-threatening to everyone, and everyone can accept them. You know, that kind of way? They're not a threat in any way, basically, to anyone, right? Everyone accepts them. No one feels the need to be aggressive towards them or dislike them, right? Well, as opposed to someone who's...
Is this going somewhere?
It is going somewhere. It is going somewhere. You'll understand, right? As opposed to someone who might have enemies, but they're very popular, but they have enemies, they're kind of popular because they're unpopular, right? Something like that. Or someone who's, let's say, an alpha male or something like that, who gets into a lot of nonsense, whatever. The point is that some people are popular without really doing anything. Now, someone like this guy, this is the reason why this guy probably has a high sub count. He's just kind of popular with people of his generation. Just popular. No one really knows why. He's easy watching. Everyone kind of likes him, right? That seems to be the majority. That's what makes up the majority of high subscriber YouTube and TikTok accounts, I reckon. Just people just find someone, I kind of like this person. Yeah. No bother, easy watch, yeah. Some okay content, yeah. I'm totally subscribing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they don't even know. They don't even know why they're all subscribed. You know what I mean? They don't really give it a thought. You subscribe to someone, whatever, and that person just happens to have 2 million subscribers or 500,000 or whatever.
Yeah, people. What you're trying to say is people by people. That was what I was taught when I was training to be a salesman. People ultimately buy your product, but in order for them to buy your product, they must buy you first. So you have to sell you as a product first. And what you're saying is, when videographers make material, all they're appealing to in terms of the audience is, are you sold on me? Now, in this case, his audience is already sold on him as a personality when playing Mario. Therefore, what he presents in terms of flat earth rhetoric is kept in isolation for a personality that they like and not given a high degree of consideration. He's just a nice enough, likable guy, and he basically says it's a belief that I shouldn't really hold because it's reasonable to hold a globe earth belief. Let's get on with some Mario.
Yeah, perfect for the people around him, that age group, that generation. Yeah, let's play some Mario. You know, if space is real, let's play Mario.
Yeah.
Heliocentric.
Right, good note to round out on. With that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
All right.
Is this the after show or is it over?
think we're going into the after show.
Oh, okay. I thought I missed it because I came in and then I went back to sleep. I just woke up.
Mike 808 from the chat says, "What the hell is Brian talking about?" Well, when Adam
Nathan.
Yes. Although he doesn't know it, when Adam gets here, that'll be when the after show ends.
Nathan.
Yes, that's me.
When you're growing up in your, teenage years, and folks are just popular. Not because of anything specific.
I found I was just popular because of my incredible beauty and how handsome I was. That always made me very popular. Not with the men.
Were you?
I was always very popular with the ladies.
Are you tall?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, forget about those short people. They don't have a shot.
That's not true. It's just like tall people get it. It depends, because sometimes tall people are looked at as goofy.
Anyway, it wasn't necessarily the best of segue into this discussion about popularity. It was just Brian's way of saying the reason this guy's got 750,000 subs is because he's quite pleasant. He's a little bit edgy because he swears occasionally, and Brian's saying sometimes it doesn't make any sense why a fairly plain-faced guy who's not that sharp becomes popular. Does it have anything to do with his exceptionally good information? No. Is he a Super Mario Brothers world record holder? Well, I've never heard of him. Maybe he is.
Yeah, even though I got a bit of backlash over it. I mean, it's like, why do you have such a... I know you're being suppressed, but even before that, I mean, this guy is just more popular than you.
Something's wrong, right, Brian?
Well, shockingly,
bullied as a child?
Being good at Mario is more popular than Flat Earth. That's the bottom line there. And so what? That's how it is. That's fine by me. That's, how it is. I'm sure tractors are more popular than Flat Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you don't have to give it much thought. It's fun. It's something that's fun. Tractors, trucks, tanks, all these kind of things. Let's all subscribe to that. Yeah, let's see another video.
I don't know. I feel like you've completely derailed the show to the point where I'm going to have to round it out because of that comment, Brian. I mean, everyone can blame you for this short after show, I feel. But with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and Cheapest Panels for making today's after show possible. It was only cut short because of Brian. Let's make that absolutely clear. It had nothing to do with Adam arriving. But I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.